hello. We are live as usual. Let's see, another month is coming up here. Gotta make an announcement, but before that, make sure my sound setting is all good. Okay, we're good on the sound, I think. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's see, stream viewers, live now. Let's get started. Hey, Devi, you are first today. Hey. Hey, yo. Times are coming. I gotta figure out my new streaming schedule. I wonder if early morning would be really bad for me. I mean, as long as I can sleep early, it shouldn't be a problem, but a lot of times, sleeping early is not a choice that I get to make. As we all know, life is like that sometimes. All right, let's continue making our games here. But before that, I gotta make sure I pin some wish list link here. Debbie says morning streams? Yeah. Either morning stream or evening stream. That's the new things that I'm gonna need to do. Except the weekends, I guess. I'm gonna have to figure it out because I can't spend every waking hour either working or streaming. You know what I mean? As far as I love the grind, even though I love the grind and I love being productive, there are certain personal lives that I think I should be a little bit more aware of as opposed to hoping that everybody around me understands that this is my life. You know? Who would understand? Wish list through... Hold on. Through the shatter. Through the available now for wish list through the shatter. And then I gotta do the link. I feel like I always forget what the link to my own game is, and I have to copy paste from this one part. Boop. And then I gotta pin that, make it permanent. Do that on YouTube as well. Pin. There you go. I think we're good here. Oh my goodness. Where are we? Where are we? We had such a great idea. Last time Usama told me about the what if we have exploration score and then change how things look based on that. Devi says, I'm laying down waiting for chicken pot pie to be done. Leon is making. I'm so excited. Ooh, sounds delicious. Chicken pot pie. Well, get your chicken pot pie. But yeah. So I was saying that there's an exploration mode, and then there's going to be exploration scoring, which gives multiplier to the awards or rewards of what do you call navigation. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I made a choice to make it so that what is it? The exploration doesn't happen automatically. It's always a choice. You get to spend provision to do exploration. Provision or health. So it uses provision, but if you don't have provision, of course it'll use your health to dive into it. Oh, I almost sneezed. That also means I think I'm gonna have to change the tutorial a little bit. Voice says pie indeed. I wanted to sneeze there. That's why I was like holding myself a little bit because I was like, but it's gone. The moment has passed. No sneeze for me. Okay, so we're moving to the POI and we gotta give control to the player, I think. So that, let's see, there's part of this. We're gonna unpause We want to center the camera to the player immediately, or starting node. Will that work? I wonder if this works. Okay. Center the camera to player. We're going to reset smoothing. Meaning there is no smoothing. We don't have to worry about that right now. No tweening. We're just immediately jumping onto the player spot. And we're unpausing. And we're going to say player action is allowed. Hopefully that means the thing will come up immediately. Hey, Zuzu. Zuzu says, bless you, even before I get to sneeze. You're a step ahead. You're a step ahead. Look at you. Okay. Well, let's see. Boom. Fade in. We're here. The action bar is not visible, so we're going to make sure that the action... Well, I mean, I feel like this should set that. Player action allowed. When that gets set to true, I think it's supposed to make the action bar show up. Let me just make sure everything is here. Action bar allowed, which is a separate thing, it seems. Okay. Okay. And then I gotta add some additional instructions to make this gameplay a little bit better. Devi says, the blessed chicken pot pie. Indeed. Oh, what the heck? Did it just crash? I don't know what happened there. So this says, always one step ahead. That sounds familiar. Always one step ahead. That sounds like an Aladdin song. Da 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 da. That song, I don't know. I feel like there's a line that says something to do with being step ahead. Am I mistaken? Maybe not. Okay, so search is available. Well, clearly it doesn't really tell you what these things do, so I probably will have to do that. Another thing, it seems like the control is not enabled. WASD, I think. Thought this does this. Action bar allowed, explore mode, player action allowed. Yeah. I thought that allows for WSD control here. Let me see. I think there's a camera. This one is player control. Player control gets allowed by somebody. Seems like this is no longer the case. Changed a lot of things, and it seems like some of these things are working kind of not in tandem with each other, which is a little annoying, but we'll see. Voice says, Ezra, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is it compared to regular meat pie pastries? Chicken pot pie? I prefer chicken pot pie over regular meat pie, I think. Well, okay, so there's a chicken pot pie, but then I will have to say I prefer shepherd's pie, because as much as I love puff pastry or like the crispy pastry, I like potato. So much. So okay, this is looking good. Another thing I was thinking about the other day, you know how I was making it so that on the mountain, once you find the tunnel, when you find the tunnel, I get an opportunity to do a new connection. I want to simplify it. I want to make it so that these special connections remain as special connections. But when you find the tunnel, that means you get to use the tunnel action. And tunnel action will cost like, I don't know, 2 provisions. Or 1 provision, I guess. Automatically, and it instantly transfers you. So I think I'm going to make a new action called tunnel action. And so instead of unlocking a path, it'll be just, hey, here is a tunneling path, which you can use when you do a tunnel action instead. Ash Holy Cash says, hi Ezra, good to see you. How's it going? It's going well. We're making our progress here. We're doing what we can. Also, explore versus search. What do we like better in terms of language? And then we got to make a little tooltip so that people can see what action does like what, and then how much like provision or resource it uses. All of that. So there's quite a lot to do. I'm sorry I'm sniffling, as I'm sure if you are my viewers, you're used to me sniffling in the beginning. So this says, okay, but what's your favorite jjigae? I do love doenjang jjigae is one of my favorite, I gotta say. But it's not called jjigae. There's something called 감자탕, tang, or like 뼈다귀 해장국, which is like a really boil for a long time pork bone soup that's kind of like spicy with lots of potato. Oh man, that is hearty. That's like the original Korean fast food back in the days. Because the idea is that it's always boiling and meat falls up to bone quite easily and stuff like that. Good stuff. Hold on. I was looking for action bar here. I think, was it under UI? Or was it under actions? I think it was under UI actually. UI buttons. Nope. Action UI. Aha, yes. So I'm gonna make a new one called tunnel. Suzu says, ask a finger, get a hand. What? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Voices. Oof, my bad. Didn't see that. Was asking Devi. I still try to make it too. I see. Brings up both you and Devi's name. Sounds like it just melts in the mouth. Must be really good. It is so good. I mean, if you're not much of a meat eater, I guess it's not really much of a thing. But let me show you what it looks like. It has also a lot of like this. It uses this like veggie as like a main flavoring. It's like spicy bone broth. And there's like a fun of, this is what it looks like. Look at that. Yum. There's nothing quite like it, I have to say. This also differs based on the area. But yeah, this green has like very specific flavoring. That's like, I don't know, it's like a kind of nutty. It almost tastes like nutty colored greens. I don't know if you're familiar with coloreds, but Suzu says, I had that with intestines, I think. Oh, I see. That could be good too. I'm not much of an intestine eater. It's too rich for me. Too heavy. But I know that's delicious. Okay. I'm gonna make a tunneling Part of me is wondering if it was a mistake to make all these actions different color. Like if it should have been all the same color instead. But I'm gonna live with my decisions here for now. I'm gonna make one for fast travel. So base color, let's say the buttons color is gonna be a little bit more brown, I guess. I'm gonna compare it to the other ones and see how much. Yeah, it's still using the same outer edges. And then we're going to use and create some tunneling. To make that, I guess I have to, I think stylistically I've been doing non-outlined art style, but I still need to make sure we're probably gonna do one of these things. Might have to refer to my other thing, but, and then we're gonna have text here, which will say something along the lines of like tunnel. Of course, I'm gonna have to change the font a little bit. People can't read cursive anymore, right? Is that true? Kids these days don't know how to read cursive letters. So I gotta make sure I don't write in cursive. I mean, I heard that, but I'm not sure if it's true. Void says yeah. Okay, that's what I heard. I'm gonna leave the text here, but it's just like a placeholder for now. The image itself, we're probably gonna do a variation of the grays and brights. So we're saying we're gonna have some upper parts here. Some of the layers that's gonna expose, obviously. We're gonna have something like that. And then we want to go darker on some of these parts. Right. Something like that. It's all gonna come together eventually, I think. Not too worried, but you know, gotta make sure that the forms are sensible. And we're gonna get rid of some of these hard lines. So there's the little bit more softer lines here. Like that. Maybe I do even more transition. There you go. Yeah, sometimes you see me doing this. It's because I'm toggling between my DPI settings. So I'm trying to test like, oh, do I like this, what do you call it, sensitivity or not? I think I just do it entirely. This other color. Hey, Baka Design. Voice says, Ez, do you use contour tool in Sprite? Contour tool? You mean this? Lasso? I guess that could be useful. I'm not used to using those. Oh, this. What does that do? Oh, that's pretty cool. This might be useful. I mean, so here's my thing. I like having control. So if I like to do click and shift. So in Sprite, when you click with the brush, if you hold shift, it makes a straight line from that point, the last pinpoint. So when I draw, instead of doing this, sometimes I like to do basically this, like that. And so if I'm doing contour, I'd rather do the outline first and then do this, you know? As opposed to using the contour itself. It's just not in my, what do you call? In my repertoire. The repertoire of actions I do. I'm gonna turn off the text real quick. Is the music too loud, guys? Should I turn up the music? But I mean, if you're used to it, I think everybody has their own, process. I don't think any one of them is worse than the other. I just can't see myself to use it so far. But I also see a future where I might use it, It's just I really like having control over the movement of the shape. Arenio Metsuri says, I keep posting weekly check-ins in your Discord, but I feel bad that I'm almost never here during co-work session. Oh, no, it's okay. Hey, look, everybody has their own thing. I know I have been bad with the weekly updates. I'm supposed to do these, but then I have been busy. busy doing streams. And like my argument was that like, hey, I'm still doing a little bit of text updates, but then I'm also updating via the live stream itself. So I'm like giving myself the like excuse of being like, hey, I'm technically updating, guys. I'm still here. You can see that clearly. But I should probably be better with it too. No, I'm reading all of them. And eventually I do want to do more updates on that too. I feel kind of bad for slacking in that space recently. Ever since the vacation. And this is why you can't take too much break, I feel. You know what? I'm going to do it this way, actually. I'm going to round it out a little more. So it feels a little bit more that. Honestly, I actually kind of want to give this shape. This feels better. Yeah. Voice says, what music? Oh, I guess you guys can't really hear it, huh? I mean, I always wonder about that because it's like, if you have your own music, I want you guys to be able to hear it. I have a music going on, but I guess I could increase it. Like that. I know it can be really distracting, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. And then once I finish my next pixel art, not this one, I'm talking about my art account one. Hopefully I can use I can test the Baka Designs what do you call the palette helper thing again to do the next one. But yeah. Say this probably needs to do one of these before I do even that. Like that. And then this is kind of like floor, right? So I want to make sure this does one of these things. Like that. That. Then a little bit of dithering. Just for the idea of grounds and dirts. There you go. And combine these things. Then this. Baka says, I have a newer version. Oh, do you? I mean, I saw some of the updated version that you shared. By the way, even if I don't answer all the things, I am paying attention. Sometimes I try to answer, but sometimes I, well, not answer as in like reply, but sometimes I think about it and I forget. And then I just move on and it's like timing has passed. So don't be discouraged thinking that nobody's looking at your post if nobody responds. I am looking at every single post. Just an FYI. I'm sure it would be better if I actually responded though. Would feel less awkward for you guys, I'm sure. Okay. I think it's looking quite all right. There you go. I feel like it needs to come down more. Like that. Then have this round out a little more. Then I'm gonna outline these with these. There you go. One more. Feels okay. Okay. One problem at a time. Voice says, Ezra perceives all exactly. I'm like Santa. I know exactly what you guys are doing. Whether you sense me or not. Sounds like a beginning of religion. Conic says, big fan here. Hey, Conic. Hello, hello. Good to see you again. It's always good to meet the fans. You know what I mean? I appreciate the fans. Okay, I think this is okay. This is tunnel enough. And I'm gonna keep this like that. And then I'm gonna do a thing here. So text will be fixed here. Or move it over a little bit. I don't know if the action name itself should be called tunnel. Like, is that too confusing if it's actually called tunnel? This U is a big U. There, let me move it over one. No. N. I gotta create a better N here. Doop, doop. Yeah, it needs a little point. Like that. That's not too bad. Our new mystery says, I feel perceived. Exactly. I perceive you. Well, speaking of, let's look at the mystery's recent update, shall we? Let's show it to the people. Oh, yes. Look, this space one. I really actually like the look of this. Look at this. Beautiful. I actually really love it. I like the idea of it. Though I think last time you posted before this, I think I was asking about like, or not asking, but I was mentioning something about, yeah, oh my gosh, I could see like exploration being fun and stuff like that. And then you were saying that was the original thing, but it was like maybe too scopy. Let's see. Audio warning for the clip. I don't know how balanced my explosion audio is. Well, it sounded okay. Anyway, it's still Wednesday and I still have time, blah, blah, blah. Still working on visual side of being able to tell what the NPC ship is doing. That's a good point. I wonder if you need a tooltip effect of like hovering over and being able to see what the ship is doing. Being target locked should be way more clear, and you can now shake the lock by getting something in between you and the opponent. Even the locking onto a ship is part of the game. That's cool. So you're disturbing people targeting onto you. Okay. Very sick. It looks promising, honestly. Even just visually, the way it is right now, I could see a genre of game fitting that pretty well. The other progress of the week is less visual, but the state machine for the NPC now changes states more or less the way I want, but the states don't do anything yet. Okay. And this is a Nightbat. I haven't seen Nightbat on stream in a while. Nightbat's been working on this tower thing. Tower offense, not tower defense. Very cool. And then Zuzu with his racing customized car game thing. Excited to see this come along. Adagio with this like little tunneling thing. Very cool. Yeah, so, you know, keep doing your updates. If you feel discouraged or encouraged, make sure you interact with other people's work. Look at it carefully. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're benefiting as much as we give, right? If we're developing a community of people that likes to interact with each other, that in turn, you know, make it so that people are more excited to test your game as well. So that's a little encouragement there. Good to see that everybody's doing great. Hold on. I'm gonna do that. Boop. Let's see, Usama. Wait, what's going on with Usama? Hi, Usama. Brian Game Dev says the particle system is fantastic. Yeah, it is. It really is. Let's see. What are you doing, Usama? All I see is dots. All your chat looks like just dots. Dot, 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 with question mark. Is something wrong? Look at what I see. This is all I see. I don't know what you're typing. Horse code. Horse code? You mean Morse code, right? Right. Can you imagine a horse code? It's Morse code, except you hear the neighs of the horse. That's how it's interpreted. Sounds funny. It sounds silly. Oh, hey, Mikori is on YouTube. That's new. Hey, Mikori. Mikori says, nay, nay. Nay, 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 nay. Exactly. What's the long nay versus short nay, you know? Is it a clop of the feet? Like the horse hoof clopping is like the short one and nay is the long one? All right, we got the tunnel here. Hopefully this reads. Tunnel. Maybe oh, almost looks like... Okay, so here's a problem. This makes it look like this is K instead of T. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this a little bit straighter. And then maybe go like that. Go like that. Yeah, that looks a little bit more like T. Maybe I get rid of this. I don't know. This is the hard part. Tunnel. Maybe I cut that. T-U. There you go. Tunnel. Tunnel. Yes? Tunnel. Yeah. Alright. I'll export this out. Tunnel button sprite. I do believe the disable version is just turning this into grayscale. Mikori says, hi. Void says, speaking of cars, I recently started learning to drive. Oh, and my boss is BS. Yeah, because your commute takes 3 hours. That makes sense. Brian with the horse emote. Usama says, sorry, it's a mistake, I see. No, it's okay. Don't be sorry. I thought that was funny. It's a good moment we had. Okay. All right. I'm a little conscious of the mic distance right now because I have changed the volume and all that stuff. I keep leaning over and I become too loud. So I need to like make sure I don't lean over into the mic. I'll try my best not to blow your ears out, guys. Arneometsuri says, stick or automatic? I never learned stick. I'm hoping nobody needs to these days. I mean, it's still there. I don't know how to drive stick either, so can't say much about that, could I? How do I turn this into... Oh, color mode. I think I just do a grayscale. There you go. This would be disabled. You know, the problem with the grayscale is... I wonder if I should use the negative filter instead of using the disabled image. We'll see, we'll see. We'll make tunnel button disabled. And we're going to create a new action here. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have saved that. I saved it as grayscale. Yikes. All right, well, it's okay. We'll go to the action button here. I believe on the action bar, I can add... It's a very manual process, this. Boop. Then call this a tunnel action button. And then this one is going to be attached to the action type called tunnel, or tunneling, I guess. That's what I'm going to associate this with. I got to reload the project. Ianis3183 says, hi, I just want to say thank you for your roguelike car game tutorial. It's been teaching me a whole lot. I really appreciate work. Hey, thank you for watching that. I know it's been a while since I updated or made new tutorials, but it's coming, I promise. And I'm glad that that's helping anybody or somebody out there. Well, with my newfound knowledge, I do want to make a... I've already promised this like 3 months ago that I'm planning on doing roguelike deck builder now that we've done live coding or code along, and now we've learned new things, and now we've also decompiled Slay the Spire 2 and learned more things. A single video that summarizes all of that is something that it's in the works. I just haven't had the time because I'm really urgently working on my game. I really want to release this, at least get the demo out before I do other videos. So I'm kind of focusing on this, which, by the way, wish list right now in the pinned comment. Wait, where's my pinned comment on YouTube? Hey, is there a pinned comment on my YouTube? What the heck? I thought I pinned it. Oh yeah, it's right there. Okay, cool. Yeah. Ianis says, wish listed. Thank you. Appreciate that. Even if it's not something that you would play, wish list itself helps. But it would be nice if it converts into sale. I know Le Ginger Dev released yesterday, or Monday, not yesterday, his All Hail the Orb game. And, you know, Ginger Dev has been here as a viewer slash, you know, part of the community for a while now. And they've already made like 3,000 sales on the first 2 days, I think. So it's good to see some success story within the community. Let's see. Arneo Mystery says, if you figured out what the B mode is for me, let me know. I've heard different theories and I never use a B mode. What's a B mode? Because it's roguelike deck builder in pure Rust using Vulkan when. Is that what you want to see? Maybe I should just do, here's how you make roguelike deck builder in every single game engine and non-game engine. I'll do roguelike deck builder on JavaScript, roguelike deck builder on, I don't know, what are some new stacks that people are using? Konik says, are you considering adding translations to your game later on? I do. I know if I want to do that, I should have already extracted all the words into a language file, but I'm going to consider doing that later. And that will be a great opportunity for me to extend my dialogue plugin to do localization, because that's one feature that everybody's been asking that I never got to do. Let's see. Usama says, see my post in general. Okay. What did you post? Thanks. Yeah, these are good concepts. I mean, maybe this is helpful. Maybe like having the scaffolding is a good idea. Okay. Yeah. It's very helpful to have references like that. I do want to do some visual updates eventually. But thanks for sharing that, Osama. Brian says, are you trying to hit the next fest deadline? Yeah, I am. At the least, I'm trying to get the free demo and updated visuals ready for the next fest. The registration opens on 27th. Hey, look at my photo. I use this to make the thumbnail. Let's see. I don't know if you noticed, but I changed my live update live video thumbnails on YouTube, because I was like, well, it seems like it's really doing nothing. It's just kind of sitting there. looking all chaotic. So I decided that I'm going to unlist all the recorded videos that are older than like 3 months, I think. And then make sure all the new ones are updated to have the new thumbnail, which I guess I should do that. Can I do that? I wonder if I can do it in a mass. Let's see if I can do a mass update. Distraction on distraction. Never ending distractions, I think. Title, tag, visibility. Doesn't seem like I can do mass thumbnail updates. Oh well, I'll have to do that manually later. Ian says roguelike deck builder on machine code. Yeah, exactly. Just like straight up assembly. Maybe not machine code, but maybe I can do it on assembly. Roguelike deck builder on Arduino, right? Yeah, Conic says roguelike deck builder in assembly. Usama Omani says, did I posting in the right room or there is a specific room? Nah, general's fine. We're just chatting, so it doesn't really matter. Devi says, chicken Popeye is very good. Lol, sorry, had to take care of something real quick. Yeah, no problem. No problem. You're not contractually obligated to keep watching me once you say hi here. I assume that you guys are free to roam about as you would. Back and forth. Okay, this is going to be tunnel. I think this is going to cost 1 provision to do. I think a lot of the actions are just 1 provision regardless. So that's good. I got to update the texture here. So it'll be texture of the tunnel. And then we're going to have disable texture. Boop. And that should be good. And then this one automatically detects which actions are available or allowed. And it's going to consider that. So only change is now when we're exiting on exit, we're exiting the exploration and let's see. We found a tunnel. We used to turn into the tunnel mode to say, hey, choose your target to tunnel 2. But instead now, we're going to make it so that the nodes, the map nodes, allow tunnel action. So when we say get additional actions, it's going to check its tunnel found flag, which I think is available somewhere here. Found tunnel count. And we don't even have to. I mean, right now I'm checking for count. Maybe there's a future implementation for that. Basically, we're going to say, hey, if tunnel count is greater than 0, then we're going to say base actions, pushback, journey mode, enums, action type, tunnel. And hopefully this happens all in the right order. So when we're exiting, this executes, we increase the count, and then suddenly this is available and it's permanent. Another thing I really wanted to do is once the exploration is generated, keep it locked. So you know how like right now, every time you explore the nodes, it's completely newly generated. I think it would be cool if we make it so that if the exploration node is the same, so if you revisit, it's exactly the same, so you know how to do it, and then it keeps what is already revealed, you know, so like you can make progress that way, so you don't have to rediscover everything. 8121HJ, I don't know how to read your Chinese name there, but says, hi, how do I learn programming? Okay, well, it really depends on where you're from or how much progress you have. But I think choosing a language and then going through the basic first is very important. And there are a lot of good internet resources. I know a lot of people tout AI as a great learning tool, but sometimes you lose patience. Like you don't learn the patience of programming. Oh, hold on. Oh, this is gonna... Yikes. Yeah. Okay, anyways. So it seems like I also need to change the starting provision here. So for beginning, let's see. But yeah, choose some basic language. It doesn't matter what language you choose, honestly, because regardless, you do have to learn these concepts. And you can write this down at the end of the day. You need to learn variable assignment, math within the code, how that works, conditional statement, meaning that comes with the Boolean logic, right? And then how to do loop. And then comes the data structure and algorithm. So that kind of sets you up for, once you know all that, jumping between different languages is just a matter of syntax and learning very specific thing that language can do really well. So that's where I would start. Let's see. Sorry, Roomba, I didn't see you. Roomba says hello. Hello, Roomba. If you want berry folk, I see that you tried to do it. You got to plant the seed first. So if you go to the redeem, there is a redeem called plant berry folk seed. You plant that, then you get a special seed for yourself that represents you. And then you got to water it 9 times. You can see different redeems for watering it. Once you water it 9 times, you get one of these special berry folk. And availability of what's there and what's out there is right here. You can see that the rarest one right now is the hollow berry, which I'll be impressed if you get it. But yeah. Let's see. Hepta. Hey, Hepta. Long time no see. Hepta says, stock market go brr. Oh, is it? Yeah, it does. Actually, today was a pretty good day. But either way, I'm starting my day job next week. For those of you who's just visiting me, long time no see. I am going back to work on Monday. And, that means resaving and reinvesting. I've been using my savings for 3 years now, and it's time to restock up. But I'm still going to stream and content make. It's just schedule will have to change. Roomba says, trust me, AI does not help. You eventually end up letting it to the work. I see. I never used it. So I'm a generation where that was just never a thing, so I don't know. But anytime, I don't hear it as much. But about 4 months ago, there were so many people in the chat that's like, oh my gosh, but it's so good for learning. It's so good for teaching. It's so good for blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, but reading a textbook or reading a single vlog or whatever is just as easy, in my opinion. And you also learn to read different types of article and teaching materials by doing that, instead of something always being tailor fit for you, Someone says, do you plan to use shader in this game? I do use some shaders already. I have several shaders. If you see my title, you see the shimmer? That's a shader. I mean, I reduced the strength of it, but this is the same shader Balatro uses for foil. This is a foil effect, except the center is over here. So you see this wave of color? That's one. I also use this shimmer. This is technically a shader too, yeah. It's a masked shader. I like to use shaders, but I'm not using, I guess, any wave type of thing. But I do plan on using those things. I use it sparingly though. Okay, let's see. We're in the middle of action. Oh yes, I'm gonna make a change so that for both Explorer and Tunneling, I gotta make sure that if the resource is not available, the provision is not available, then it should use health instead of disabling it. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to the action bar. Let's see. Jeez. Oh, I gotta catch up on the Twitch chat here real quick. Hepta says, my company Salesforce is forcing us to use AI for everything. Dude, I know. I mean, it's also because a lot of the companies, a lot of big companies are trying to market their product. And this happens all the time. Market their product. Especially if they own an AI product, they want to say, hey, we are using it internally. This is a benefit we have. And it's like a kind of like proof is in the pudding type of thing. So they're forcing it and people like measuring that. But I'm hearing a lot of negative reviews internally. It's like it's only helpful if you're really, really senior and know what you're doing and you use it sparingly. Rumba says, it's for the investors. Yeah. Hepta says, I hate working for big tech. Ugh, yeah, I know. But that's where the money is, right? So it's like, I worked at big tech for 10 plus years. Well, I mean, 13 years to be exact, right? Amazon and Google. And so I was like, I even made a video on YouTube being like, I'll never go back. But the reality is that I ran out of money and, well, not run out, but you know, I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to release a game soon. But now that I'm in that situation, I need to get back to like doing a day job. And if I'm going to go back to a day job, that's not like 30-year permanent, might as well go back to something that pays well and is resume building. So here I am. But I'm excited regardless. Hepta says, I want to be doing passion projects, but I'm exhausted. Same here. But, you know, I got to do some passion project for 3 years. You know what the benefit is, though? So I worked for a long time. I built my resume, so I have security. I did this passion project for 3 years. I learned ways. I learned techniques and informations that I wouldn't have had normally. I actually do not regret doing this without a job for a while, because there comes a side effect of like, if I were to do this while working, I think I wouldn't have gone as hard as I did, which means like the learning process is slower. So I got to learn a lot within 3 years of what it takes to do content making and like solo projects for like trying to make money and stuff like that. So now that I go back to, when I go back to work, I know how to allocate my time efficiently so that I can do both and eventually transition to doing this full time better, I think. K-Cug, hi. Konik says, would you like to work in a big scale game dev company? I don't think they will hire me yet. Just because my majority of my, and that's also a kind of rough time, because majority of my experience comes from like service oriented big tech company, and game dev development companies don't really need that unless you're talking about their like, maybe I'm a valid candidate for like their web services or server logic and stuff like that. But then the game itself, I don't think would be good unless I have a portfolio. I would love to, but it'll be rough, because this is what happens. I'm a senior level developer, right? And I get senior level pay. So if I'm going to go to the like a game dev interview, it looks bad if I downgrade my role and say I'm going for an entry position, because it's like, you have 10 plus years experience. Why are you going for an entry position? So that doesn't work. And also I don't want that money. So then if I go, well, I have experience, I can learn this, and then I'm going to do this, then in comparison to other people at the senior level who has relevant experience, I don't look as good, you know? So it's just kind of the reality of things. And the only way to overcome that is via the portfolio. But, you know, Malicious Rabbit says, I think if I didn't wind up doing stuff solo, then I'd want to potentially find a job at a small studio. Yeah, I mean, that probably is the alternative. So that's the alternative for me as well, is like, if I don't want to go, so if I don't go to the big game studio, the smaller studio would be more willing to take a risk on me, because it's like, you know. But yeah, Malicious Rabbit says, but I'm still just working IT right now, so the game dev dream is still in progress. Yeah, I think within the game dev space, portfolio is that important. Wisama says, we suppose you finish your game how you protect it from others. What? Oh, you mean how do I protect the game from others? I don't really see a need to do that. I mean, for me, if it sells, initially it sells. If it gets cracked, and it becomes popular, then it sucks. But at the least I have the name. I'm like, I'm the creator of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it got hacked, but I have that. And that goes a long way, regardless. I mean, imagine, here's the thing. This is actually a win-win for me. I make a game, it becomes successful, or it fails and becomes successful. This is the worst case scenario, right? It fails, but it becomes successful within the cracked space. Like they stole my idea, they stole my game, and it becomes popular. But then I still have my names attached to it. And then let's say I come back and I make a video, how I got my game stolen and made millions, right? It doesn't have to be true. Like that's a video somebody will click on, and that's like a really good starting point. It's a great point to build credibility for people who's watching a video. So it's just kind of like, it's not a concern I have. Roomba says it seems to use code. What? Oh, Hepta says, I hate working for big tech. I want to be doing passion project. Wait, where did this come from? And my old colleagues at AWS are being forced to use AWS Cairo. I know. Yeah, same. I understand that. My friend was telling me that. But I mean, apparently it's still pretty good for code reviewing, test writing and stuff like that. But like for feature writing, it's bad. Apparently, like, okay, so I see a epidemic of, I hear a lot of stories of epidemic of like newer coders, like the newer professionals, not really knowing what they're doing. And like, it's easy to blame AI being like, hey, it's because this generation is too used to getting the usage of AI. But I'm like, was I that bad when I were their age? And then that was like 10 plus years ago. So my memory of that might be a little spotty. Who knows, right? Remember says, what's your day job, if I may ask? I used to think I was decent for learning or at least note-taking, but I found that I hate things on silver platter. I mean, like, because you don't get anything out of it. I don't like being served. I like finding out myself as well. My day job is this right now. I am doing full-time content making. I do streaming, all that stuff. I've been trying to do different things. I have an art account. I'm trying to sell art as well. Blah, blah, blah. But 3 years ago, I mean, I already mentioned this. I worked at Amazon for like 10, 11 years, and I worked at Google after that for 3 years. And then I came to this. And then now I'm going back to one of those places, basically. I'm trying not to be specific so that I don't want to be responsible for what I say in public. Let's see. But if you find out, you find out. I'm not going to really talk about anything that is internal, obviously, once I start. Rumba says, I used to think it was decent for learning or at least note-taking. Oh, yeah, for AI, yeah. Voice says, my workplace lets us use AI for speeding up the development. So I said the bottom line, I will never use AI in art and game dev. Yeah. I mean, I can see the usage of, once again, like just templating things, getting the first part of the test, or like writing one test function based on all the other test functions I wrote, because I had to do that for a regression test or unit test sometimes, being like, okay, well, this is the test structure, I just need to change the parameter or the presupposing preconditions of the test in different ways. I could see myself using that to save time. Hepta says, software engineer at Fang? Yeah, I have always been. I just took a break. Roomba says, AI art is different level of dystopian, man. Yeah, it doesn't even look good. That's my biggest gripe with AI art, is that whenever I see AI art, no matter how convincing they think they are, I'm like, okay, one, I can tell it's AI for most of the part. Even if I can't, it looks bad because it doesn't have the... And it's the same thing. Like, there's no intention behind it. You can see an intention, but then it's like copy of an intention. It's a very generalized form of art. It's too functional. It's too functional and not enough art in it, which gives life to art, I think. Same as game development as well, I think. Sorry, I'm chatting. I'm just gonna try to catch up with all the chat here. Normally, I do a lot of development. Is just, you know, I want to address everything here since it's been a while. Chris says, the only reason I want to get PC to run a local LLM for anything I need is mainly to have an assistant. Hey, thanks for the raid, Unix. I guess I should give a good old shout out. Sorry, I'm gonna get down to where you guys are, probably chatting right now, but I'm trying to catch up. There was a lot of chat here. So we're talking about work, game development, and career and AI currently, but you know, it is what it is. Thanks for the rate. Right now, we are working on my game called Through the Shatter. Pinned comment should give you the link to the wish list. It will be very helpful if you do that. Otherwise, we're working on a feature for that one. Right now, I'm targeting June Next Fest as my free demo target before I restart. So I've been taking a break, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm just going over it. Taking a break. I'm going back to work, to day job after 3 years. So I'm trying to get everything. Hepta says, come back to AWS. Well, on Monday, if you have internal... I thought you were Salesforce, Hepta. If you're in AWS, you'll be able to see me on Phone Tool, I'm sure, very soon. Oh, shoot, I just said it, didn't I? Anyways, Void says, same in gaming with that little time I even have. But Chris says, yeah, alleviate the having to make notes, add things to calendars or reminder, etc. Have it send me a text in the morning telling me what I still need to do for projects timeline. Handle the busy work that isn't important. Yeah, Roomba says, Ezra used to work at AWS. Damn. No, I wasn't in AWS. I was in transportation for a long time, and then I was in Alexa. AWS is the only one of the three that I never worked at. But, you know, it is what it is. Hepta says, XFang Employees Unite. Can I find you on phone? Oh, yeah. You will be able to, I'm sure. I'm sure I might. I don't know if I'm already popping out right now since I'm starting Monday. You can message me being like, hey, I'm Hepta. I'll be like, hi, let's grab lunch. Let's see. Don't tell anyone that you know me from stream though. don't tell the HR. I mean, they already know, but it's just like I don't want to expose myself too much within the team itself. Conic says, when I look at job opening in game studios, okay, hold on. YouTube, you gotta wait. I since I got rated, I have to catch up on Twitch as much as I can so I can respond to the raiders here. Our Neo Mystery says, good luck to everyone grinding on a day job. I'm still job hunting and the grass ain't greener. Remember to always unionize. That's a funny story about that being in US. Devi says, yes, just morning sickness getting to me. Oh, Beaver says he's going to be running his own big scale game dev studio. Yeah. Yes. Remember, my mission is to give everyone the money to develop their great idea. And I want to judge the people. If I ever make a company or studio, I want to evaluate people based on what they promise. So like, if a person says, I have this idea and this is the goal of the idea, it doesn't have to be money. It can be like, I want to send this message through the game, or I'm trying to find this thing. And I want to evaluate people based on, I want to hold up to your own goal. This is your goal for your idea in your game studio or your game idea. How are you achieving that? And how close are you to that? And then we can have that. It's like, I see this as like a way to encourage artistic mind. And in order to do that, I feel like money comes after that eventually. But, you know, obviously I'm going to have to take a lot of hit if I were to build that kind of studio. So that means I need to have a lot of money. So I'm going to build my moolah right now. Voice says, take it easy, Dev. Oh, Dev, you bye. Wait. Nightbat says, hey, Nightbat, we just looked at your weekly update from our Discord. Nightbat says, be the small studio you want to see in the world. Exactly. Voice says, game's so good, it's got bounty hunted by pirates. Exactly. That is a goal. Hepta says, lol, I worked 3 years at AWS and 5 years at Salesforce. I hear some impending dangerous or scary stories again. It seems like every quarter is a layoff nowadays. Nightbeth says, I got pulled aside once by my manager for a Facebook post criticizing my company's choice in spokesperson. Not leaking your employer is smart. Yeah, exactly. Even if AI art looks good, turns out what I want is human expression. I mean, that's what I feel about a lot of the games. You know, okay. You know, procedurally generated content was really like a buzzword about like 5 years ago, I think, or even before that, I always had problem enjoying procedurally generated content, especially if it's dungeon, because it felt meaningless to me. Like, I mean, Gungeon did it well, but then when Diablo did those, like, I think it was Diablo 3 or 4, when they first came out with these like areas that just kind of reshape itself, I was like, it doesn't feel new to me. I actually rather it stay the same so that I feel like I'm becoming an expert, as opposed to keep changing. It doesn't feel new. It's just the same thing, different color, different combination of the same mechanic. That doesn't feel novel to me. And, you know, AI has a similar feeling of like, if the AI was telling me a story, like, for example, if I'm like, oh, I'm going to play D&D, and then the AI is a DM, and let's say I'm like, oh, there's so much freedom, blah, 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 it's great, I get to hear new stories. The excitement of seeing the story isn't there, because it's not just about the story. It's like, I want to know what story the author is intending to tell, as opposed to this just emerging aimlessly. Mikori says, even if there is no high key spots to point out, AI, it's feeling you get like you just know. Yeah. Ewo Inside, hi, thanks for the raid. I guess you brought them to here, Ewo? Long time no see? Oh, or did I see you on Monday? Maybe I did. ZXOXA, hello. Hello, Raiders. Oh my gosh, I finally got to the raiding message. Hello, Raiders. Welcome. All right, all these. Hepta says, hi, he's going back to AWS. Am I? I don't know. The Sevi says, the sadness. Ooh. It is sadness. It's because I didn't get enough content making. Maybe I needed to go harder. Hey, thanks for the follow, by the way, Unix. I should probably follow you back for a raid in the future. Sorry if I'm ignoring all your messages here. Gosh, a lot of chat today. Hey, thanks for the follow, Eunice. Devi says, I was so happy when I left AWS. Now Ez is going back to Amazon. Well, you don't know that. I didn't say that. I'm not going back anywhere, guys. You don't know where I'm going. I will not confirm nor deny any guesses from now on. Roomba says Ezra will be Glitch Studios for games. I don't know what Glitch Studio is, unfortunately. I'm guessing that's a good one. Devi says, your poor brother. Yeah, exactly. My brother is going back to AWS. Ernie Mystery says, maybe the Ezra company will be more about education than business. I think that would be awesome. Like, it would be great if the company has a huge effort in educating, making products, and like making artists flourish. That would be a goal. I don't know how I'm going to achieve that, but that's something. Yonsai says, why play a game when Copilot can't play for you? Exactly. We can just watch people play. Mikori says, Glitch Studios are the people that made the amazing Digital Circus. Oh, I see. All right, I'm back to YouTube chat now. Sorry. Let's see. Malicious Rabbit, we already talked. Usama says, we suppose you finish your game. Yeah, we're talking about that. Konik says, when I look at job openings in game studios, is 99% design and art related stuff. Yeah, I feel like to do that, you need strong portfolio or schooling for sure. I can't find an angle where I can convince people that I know how to do that, like, because they have to commit money to me, right? And that means you have to really, like, even if you're lying, even if you can do it, you need to make it feel like it's a safe bet. I mean, that's all interview is, making it feel like a safe bet. And that'll be hard angle. Let's see. Kane says, I think you would catch up pretty fast. For me, the game dev programming part is way easier than my day job. Obviously, I had to spend 2 months or so to get used to Unreal and how to design stuff works. Yeah, I do know that I can catch up pretty quickly. It's just, once again, it's the whole, like, the risk thing. On the company side, when they're taking a risk for me, in hopes that I will be what I say I will be. And not having a portfolio makes it harder to believe. It's like, think about, like, when you're, let's say you're building a studio and then you're trying to contract a job out. Like, who would you pick? You know, that's what it comes down to. Usama says, hey, the demo is waiting. Let's go back into the game. I'm coming. Don't worry. Usama, I'm gonna go back into this, don't worry. But this part of the stream is the community interaction, so I'm gonna have to read this. Ines says, fun fact, AI cannot generate glass full of wine due to all the pictures of wine glasses being half empty. That's kind of funny. Funny thought. Yeah. Okay. Johan D. King says, hello, I'm new here. What are you working on? I'm working on a game called Through the Shatter. Wishlist is available on the pinned comment and in my description. You can go take a look. Right now, I'm working on a new feature. So there are a few things. It's basically a node journey. We're calling it roguelike strategy adventure. That is like a simplified adventure. So a lot of the exploration is within the graph. You're visiting node to node, exploring node to node, doing resource management and finding upgrades and finding stories and hidden aspects of journey. So all the aspect of journey except simplified in graph. That's the goal here. Right now, the new thing that I'm trying to make is, yeah, this is already working. And then I think it should start with 2 provision. So I'll do that. Excuse me. Okay, the camera didn't follow there, which is kind of weird. But I mean, the idea is this basically. So right now we're in exploration mode, which means you get to move as much as you can. And then once you run out of move, it uses your provision to reset the move. That means you're trying to discover as much as you want. And then once you're ready to get out of here, you can go back to the start to exit. I'm guessing different things will have different goals. And at different point of the journey, you can see right here, in the overworld, when you're traveling, you spend your provision. Hey, why is the search not available? Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this. But yeah. Let's change the starting stat. Initial or a player. Initialize game stat. Let's start with provision at 1. You start with 1 provision so that you have an option to search in the beginning. Also, when I arrive, move to POI. Seems like the action is not being allowed, so we're gonna make it so that the action becomes allowed. Start travel. Travel is finished. We get to the position. Over here, it's being revealed. If it has quest dialogue, we do that. We do that. Current position changed. We're not doing exploration anymore. We're gonna make it so that the journey stage manager action bar allowed will become true, so that the step comes up. Let's see. That's the answer for John D. King here. Kane says, it would be so much fun to work as a full-time job on own games. No more crappy requirements and projects. I mean, that's why we love being our own boss. I think being able to source that or fund that is a big thing. Technically, I could package up some of the ideas I have along with my content and then go to either banks or different investors and look for investment to start seed fund and then pay myself a salary that way. I know that's a thing that you can do. I'm avoiding it because I don't want to make decisions for investors just quite yet or ever. I mean, it'll be very difficult to find a type of investor that will that trusts my vision and let me do whatever. Because when you're investing, a lot of times, return on investment is a big talking point. So that's why I'm not even like considering that. But maybe there are people out there. King says, I like building my levels by hand and spawn them randomly based on some rules. Sure, it needs more manual work, but it feels handcrafted with changing dungeons. It does feel challenging, and I think that's where the fun is, trying to make it feel different, even if you're procedurally generating. K Cook says, are you going to start working at day job in September? No, I'm starting Monday. My job starts on Monday, so my streaming schedule will change starting Monday. I will have to find some weekend schedule. Maybe it'll be later at night, so we'll see how that goes. Kane says, yeah, but it's a one-person risk. I would not call it risk. It's more like a risk to you than to them, I feel. You mean the investment? Maybe. Osama says, how many game jams do you do? I do all the big ones, like the GMTK game jams. And then I've done few weekly ones. I try not to do the ones where it's not, because I don't like doing game jams with a small participation, because I want competition. Because the hope of winning the competition with big pool of people does better in building credibility. And I know it feels very like too practical, but that's just kind of the reality of things for me. Kane says, no, I mean getting hired, getting a job at a game dev company. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's true. I don't think it's that big of a deal, Kane. But I guess it's just still numbers game. I mean, that's why they do interview. So for example, between me and somebody else who's already had the same experience except in game development, like I could argue my position being like I'm capable only, and if they only have one headcount to hire, only reason they would hire me is because my communication skill is just overwhelmingly good. And that's what I have on other people, is that my communication skill is a lot better than most engineers, just because I talk to non-engineers a lot and I know how to talk to them. And I've done tutoring, I've done a lot of teaching. So I've learned ways to talk to people who's not in the field, which gives me an edge. But you know, that's the thing. It's like if you were the only candidate they were looking, then like it's a lot easier versus like if you're competing for a position. It's just unfortunate numbers game. Let's see. Mikori says, is it an office or work from home? I hear that I won't have to go in to the office till July, but if they change their mind, I have nothing to say. I just have to go in. I also am not going to stream during work hour. I'm not going to risk that. That sounds like a silly risk to take. Well, at least I'm not going to stream while working. I'm not going to say I'm working and then stream. That's just not something that I do. Nightbeth says, My Little Blueberry is carrying around a 3. Oh, you know what that means? It means you have 3 copies of that blueberry. The number you see on your little berry folk is number of copies you have. So you can gift people if you want. Nightbeth says, game jams. I keep an eye on Indie Game Clinic's game jam. Not large, but well thought out themes and challenges to grow designs. Ooh, you know, I heard about Indie Game Clinic's channel before. I should probably pay attention to that one. I'll probably do more game jams once I start working, right? Because I need to focus on doing like small amount of concentrated work, or short period of concentrated work. Kane says, I never did an interview at a game studio, but it feels like the pool of engineers apply there is way smaller. Also, a lot of code I see from experienced game dev on YouTube is like junior level. Oh, is it? Okay, well, maybe then it's good. I'll tell you something though. Is it me or... Okay, I don't wanna like alienate anyone. Software engineers, coders, programmers, tech workers are pretty notorious for being very like strongly opinionated. That means like it's very they talk very matter of factly a lot of the times, right? And like I don't think they think they're always right. It's just that when they have an information, they don't leave room for maybes, which comes across as like very contentious. Devi says, notorious for terrible documentation. Yep. Uh-huh. That sip is so funny. Devi can't say that because Devi is a technical writer. But yeah. So I feel like for some reason, it might be a what do you call it? Stereotype that I have, prejudice, you might say. Engineers in game companies feel like a stronger version of that for some reason. You would think that no, right? Because I feel like tech bros in big tech companies, they had it easy, they make a lot of money, so they should be more harder to get along with, and they're like haughty. Maybe it's just because I don't know. Maybe I'm just prejudiced. Okay, I gotta get some water. I'll be back, guys. That was a lot of yep session just now. All right. Hopefully I didn't start any drama here. Okay. I was able to mute myself in time to sneeze. Kane says, for me, working on a single player game feels like working on a desktop client without any backend architecture behind it. So it feels way more isolated. Most of the time, you just write some algo. It's true. I'll tell you this. Reason I know game development feels, well, I mean, it's a little different. It is different, but it's harder to get a big tech job with game development experience than other way around, for sure. Because when you're telling that story of, like, let's say you're a senior engineer who worked at a game company, and then you're coming into, let's say, one of the FAANG companies and be like, hey, I'm a senior engineer, give me a senior engineer job. And when you're interviewing, you have to tell a story of the scope that is relevant to senior engineer of big tech company, which most of the time involves the scope of the project. And scope of the project is determined by, you know, how many people is impacted, like within the team, like how many people are you interacting with it, what kind of business impact do you have, and all those things. And oftentimes when you're working in a game, it's pretty isolated. I feel like a lot of the features happens to be isolated. There's no like cross team communication a lot of the times, unless you're working on a web-based like a MMORPG type of thing. I think that may be why. But I do think that there are a lot of things that application-based software engineering considers that us who's used to service-oriented engineering do not consider. Like, for one, we are more willing to scale, we're more willing to take optimization hit at the cost of increasing our distribution center or increasing our server size, right? Because that's a solution. That's a thing you can do. And sometimes it's cheaper to do that than spend like 4 more months on optimizing a code or whatever. So Kane says, yeah, MMO or so would be completely a different thing. Yeah, true. Arnio Metsuri says, as a non-programmer, programmers have very definitive opinions on things that are pretty open to interpretation. Case in point is like, what is, quote, real programming? Which I have heard actual programmers describe that what they do is not real programming, even if they've done professional backend work that involves programming for years. Dude, the pedantics of like language. I mean, I think that also comes with like some level of autism. I'm not saying this as negativity. I think there is this like very like correctness and desire to be like understood precisely, which is impossible in like just in human interaction in general. So the people do come across as that. And I think the social norm is just different. And that this is something that I want to explain is like expectation of social norm is different. For example, like I've been in both spaces. I feel like I'm right in the middle of that spectrum, but I understand both sides. So if I'm interacting with just normal non-tech people in day-to-day, and then if I challenge something that somebody else said, the strength of that doesn't determine rudeness, right? It's just conversation, but that could feel rude. And when I'm speaking my opinion, so we already understand that this is just an opinion that is informed by something. The burden of proof of disapproving is someone who is listening to me, and I wouldn't get offended if I say this is how it is and this is how I understand it from the basis of all these, and somebody goes, I don't think so, here's a proof, and I'll be like, all right, that sounds great, let's talk about that, why I might still be right. And that doesn't feel like an argument, that doesn't feel like a negative interaction. But I think a lot of people who's outside of that space may find that like a negative interaction, the one that involves negative emotion. And so I think there's a lot of that mismatch. And I don't want to excuse anyone for that. I feel like there's like an option to be aware, like you want to be socially aware of the situation and the point of the interaction to be like flexible. So you're not always like, well, by the principle, this is the case, versus like, oh yeah, like you just want to chat, you know. But that switch flipping is very hard for a certain type of people. Kane says, I like most of my day jobs, but every time I have to do something infrastructure related, I just want to start my PC and work on my game. I get it. Infrastructure is kind of boring for sure. As in, like, it's not exciting. I don't want to say boring. I want to say it's just not exciting. And there are more, feels like there are more useful things you can do with your brain. But, you know, if you're assigned, you're assigned. Kane also says, but it feels more and more that there is no way around infrastructure as backend or full stack dev. You have to, yeah. And as I said, it's part of kind of necessary evil. I mean, even in game dev, there is like exciting part, which is like coming up with the game design, you know, coming up with all the stories or writing that new system that handles rest of the thing. But like right now, I'm at a point of like making new items, not the feature of the items. Let's say I have all the features and making new items and making that, like making the idea come to fruition. Thanks for the hydrate, by the way. So it's all PK. That's tough for sure. Okay. Whew. All right. Action bar is allowed. I think there was another bug. Let's see. Let me just play the game and then change things one at a time. So I want to make it from the get-go. Doing an action is an option. Okay, that I already did it. And when I do it, I already confirmed that if I don't have provision, it uses my health to the exploration. The next thing I want to do is when I do the tunneling action, or when I find a tunnel action becoming available. That's what I want. So I'm going to go to the... Oh, I'm going to die here. I did not play that right. Hold on. Actually, before I even do that, I definitely want to... I think I'm going to go ahead and implement the tunnel feature first, actually. Assuming that it works. Because I want to test all that all at once. So on action requested, if journey mode enums action type is tunnel, then I think I'm gonna say tunnel mode. Start. Oh, I did the semicolon instead of colon. I think it was like enter tunnel mode. Like that. I think that's it. Can I cancel it? I guess I should probably allow for canceling out of the state. Okay, I'm getting awfully close to getting to a point of needing a state machine here. Ewo Insight says, did Valve accept your request on Steam? Yeah, it's available. Go check out my pinned comment, everyone. It's available through the shatter. Wishlist now. Wishlist now. Wishlist now. I know it looks like this right now, but it's gonna look so much better very soon, guys. I don't know how to check wishlist number. I wonder if I'm even at 30 people. Can't really. I don't know where I can see the wishlist count. Whatever. Iwasite says, did you fill out the Steam Deck stuff too? No. Huh? What is the Steam Deck stuff? I need to do that. I want to. Okay, so here's the thing. I have an order of things to do. I'm gonna do all the features. I'm gonna have a gameplay that I feel satisfied from, and then after that's done, after the gameplay is all locked out, I'm going to try to build it for my Steam Deck. I have a Steam Deck, so I can test it. That means while doing that, I'm going to have to do a lot of the controller feature edition. So I'm going to make it so that it's control friendly or controller friendly. And then I don't know if I should do the Steam achievement before or after the next fest. Part of me wants to do before, like at least have like 4 achievements. So that one, I mean, that definitely will extend the scope by a lot because I have absolutely no idea how that works. So we'll think about that. But those are the steps that I'm thinking of taking. Sod Bako says, are you coming from Unity to Godot? I've used Unity very little bit, not too much, before coming to Godot. So I would say, oh shoot, I shouldn't have gone there. That was a bad choice. Oh, there's a campfire too. I guess I'm gonna search again so that I can get the campfire here. Use it a little bit. I'm mostly in Godot. But what I've seen a little bit, so when I say little bit, I've done one game jam with Unity. I've gotten into like 2D render pipeline stuff and did it a lot. In that small experience, I still prefer Godot, especially because I do a lot of 2D work. And there's no like problem with it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna heal, find campfire, and come back. Kane says, yeah, true, but true, you will always have it. We have like multi-talent infrastructure and Kubernetes deployment written in Go, and everything is like magic string matching. It's just annoying, and when you did not write it and someone else just copy pasted it from some other projects, gets really fun. I mean, I did that. I was guilty of that at some point, I'm sure. Okay, so a game on Steam Deck would be also very fun. Yeah, I think this is actually pretty good for Steam Deck. I just need to figure out the configuration, like the control configuration. But that's definitely one of the main goals, because I like the idea of testing this. Hello? Okay, hold on. I made some mistakes here. All right, finding a bug is good. Zemi says, hello, I'm new to programming and would love some advice. Oh, great. Programming itself is hard to just learn in game development. I like to teach it as like game development. If your ultimate goal is game development, you can learn programming via GD script on Godot, right? So you're doing game development, but you're also learning programming concept while working on the code within Godot. So that way you don't have to do any environment setup. It's good to know those things, but if your goal is just that, then it's fine. 2 things. In the description, I do have a paid course that's meant for those targeted people. However, it does cost like $90-something, which is expensive, right? For a lot of people. In that case, I say, hey, your first approach should be go to Godot engine documentation. And then go to getting started. And just, first of all, without understanding any code, follow through this, like your first 2D game thing. It tells you what to click on, what nodes to do, and you get a general sense of like what it takes. And you get the satisfaction of, I don't quite understand what's going on, but I made something with my hand. So it gives it that feeling. And then over here under introduction, they have the Learn to Code with GDScript. And then they have this web app called Learn GDScript from Zero app. This one gives introduction to a lot of the concept and gives you a lot of terms and stuff like that. And the way you would use this is not just following along, but basically whenever you have extra questions, go to web search and expand on that. And then after all that, and you're not going to retain all this, you don't have to try to retain everything, right? At some point, you don't have to finish it. At some point within that process, you go, I'm going to try Game Jam. And it's like building a Lego castle with the blocks you are given. Whatever knowledge you have right now are the blocks that you have. Of course, if you have some other blocks, it would be nice, but you can make something that resembles an airplane with just square blocks. You just need to be very creative with it, right? So it's like working with limitation of what you have to do something. And guess what arises from that moment? What arises is that the question of, man, I wish I could do ABC. And that when that question arises, that's when you say, let me find out how to do that. Because learning without context is like pouring a water in a bowl with a hole in it, basically. That's what it feels like, at least. So that's what I would say. That's my recommendation. So always, I like to guide people into learning in the ways of find your question first. What is your question? And then find the answer to that, as opposed to trying to look for answer first. And I know, like, for example, if you're playing like golf or table tennis or piano or guitar, whatever, there's a lot of information about like the proper positioning and posture. And there's reason behind why you do that. And it's good to have those habits. But it feels even better when there's an explanation, when there's an immediate need and explanation of like, oh, you do that because of this. And then you make that connection and it becomes longer lasting information. That would be my advice. Osama says, in the main map, I think you add a place in the center. It'll be good. Place in the center. Yes. I do think that there should be more stuff for sure. I'm getting to that. Let's see. Uonsai says, it still says unknown. What? What do you mean? The wish list? What do you mean? On the right of the page, it says unknown if you scroll down a little bit. Yeah, I want to definitely do the... Oh. Yeah, I haven't done this yet, so I'm going to do that later. It's going to be unknown, but it's going to be true for sure later. Iwa says, if you want to program, just do it. Don't let your dreams be dream. Yeah, exactly. You just got to get started. Don't get too scared. You need to know what you need to face what you don't know in order to know what you don't know, so that you can fill those gaps. Nightbet says, does your project already have Steam API in it? Nope. Is that going to be a pain? This is what I use to get Valve API into Godot. Oh, good to know. I'm going to save this. Let's see. Oop. I'll put it on my on our resource, dev resource chat here. Godot Steam, right? Okay. Good to know, good to know. Let's see. Zemi says, yeah, I've been practicing GDScript. So far, I've learned the basics, but the learning process feels very daunting. I hope it gets easier. I would say focus on tutorials that just does things. You know what? All right. Don't tell anyone I share this. So technically my paid course videos are unlisted video. So I can give you... Let me give you one of them. and see how it feels to you. I said don't tell anyone this because it's like technically I'm doing this with a partnership, but I don't think it can hurt. I just want to help people, and sometimes it's hard to show people because it's like I'm not sharing this so that you can follow along, but I'm sharing this to kind of like give you an idea of what I think is ideal learning process. Let me see. I'll give you module 1. How about that? Module 1, lesson 2 and 3. And see how that feels to you. Okay? I wonder if this will permanently stay on the chat. Here's a lesson 2. And here's lesson 3. There's 4 modules, 3 videos each. So the idea is it's eventually going to get to full thing, but it's meant for beginners. So just check it out. See what you feel. Shouldn't be more than 30 minutes each video. So let's see. Mikuri says, don't forget to add Steam achievements for sure. Nightbet says, correction, Valve API. It provides a version of Godot you can download that already has Valve API integrated. Ah. Does it keep up with the most recent version, though? Because I'm on 4.6 right now. Zemi says, thank you. I'll definitely watch them. Yeah, no problem. You can join here. Join our Discord if you have Discord. Wait, why is the Discord not working? Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, join the Discord. You can DM me or whatever. Message me. Okay. Anyways, back to development. Back to development here. We were saying... yes. I want to make it so that the merchant node... You can still get out of here with the start node. I actually want to change it so that running into Sprouty doesn't end the journey. So that's one. The shop becomes available. I still want to test the tunneling. I said I want to do the tunnel feature, which I did. Let's test the tunnel feature real quick. You know, this happens oftentimes. Like I tried to test something else shows up. I fixed that. And this is like kind of like manual integration test in some ways. It's okay. I get to test the fun of repeat play at least, so I don't feel too bad about it. Nightbet says Godot Steam keeps up fairly well. They show 4.6.2. Okay, so I'm behind actually. Interesting. All right. Well, this is a terrible mountain combinations, but I think we're okay here. We're gonna search. Oh, right. Tutorial. Whoops. Okay, tunnel's over here. And here's a question. Ooh, rest I found. Should I make it so that when you run into the tunnel, it immediately ends? Or should I make it... Oh, you know what? There should be a prompt that says, tunnel found. Do you want to exit? Okay. So it's still doing this. The tunnel is available, but it won't let me do it. Hold on. It's because the requirement, I think. Action bar. Update active button. Action type. Get all the action buttons. I get the provision cost. It's disabled. What I did for Explore costs 1 health. Oh, that's why. Explorer costs health. I think it should cost provision still. Tunnel should cost provision. Shop costs nothing. And basically anything that requires provision, you can use health instead. Usama says in the main map. Oh no, I already read that. I already read that, Usama. Usama just repeated it. In the main map, I think if you add place in the center will be good. Yes, I heard you. I agree with you. I'll try that. Kane says, I like that menu. I would just increase the animation speed. Oh, you mean little zoom in? The button zoom in needs to be faster? Maybe it should be cubic instead of linear. Let's do 0.7. Okay. Let me hold on. So action bar. I'm going to change the disableness. Go through. If action button provision cost is less than the stat, or oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to do this here this way. Health cost. The provision cost is less than equal to health. So if the provision is less than health, I should still be able to use it. And then do one of these things. If the health cost is less than the actual health available, then it's a false. I guess I should do it this way. Bar is button enabled. Start with false here. Can I do that? Maybe I can't. I gotta be like that. So if the provision is too much, I guess we have to do true like this and then flip this. Like that. So if the provision cost is greater than hold on, let me think about this. I mean, mathematically it's correct, because when you're flipping an or into an and, you inverse the conditions, right? And that's exactly opposite. That's just a simple Boolean math, or Boolean identity and inverse law. Did you know that? Let's see. So provision cost is greater than the provision I have. And also provision cost is also greater than the health I have. Then it's not enabled. Wait. This is enabled. So it is opposite. Jeez. Okay, this is correct. If the condition is good, we're gonna set it to true. No, but then I want it to be able to set to false eventually. Ah! Hold on. False and true is false, so this is not gonna work. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna have to think about this. Just give me a second. There's multiple conditions here. Okay, so this means, hold on. Var is sufficient provision equals to this thing. Or meets provision cost. And then we're going to say meets health cost, which is this. And button disabled will only be true if it meets both cost. There you go. Simplified. Heck yeah. So provision can be da-da-da. Okay, cool. So we're good here. This shouldn't be disabled. So right now on exit, I'm still entering. As soon as I exit, I'm entering the tunnel mode. So we're going to make sure that's not something that we call here. So on exit, we said if the mountain is found, we're entering the tunnel mode. We're going to disable that. So we're no longer immediately finding a tunnel mode. That's only available once you do the tunnel action. Whew, okay. And then I definitely need tooltips to identify which resources are being used for what, and then what it looks like. Let's see. Roomba says, I just bought a seed not too long ago. What? No, you already watered it 9 times, Roomba. So you got a plant. You have a you got a wizard berry. Nice. It's not a shiny one. That's why. So once you have the plant, you watered it, it becomes a berry. By the way, you have several commands, right? You can kick. You can kick other berries. Oh wait, is it this? You can jump. And then you can look at what berries you have. You can change berry if you want to. One of the interesting mechanics is that you see the little crown that I have. If you kick me, you can steal my crown. And if you have a crown, your chance of getting a shiny increases. So you start from 0% chance. And if somebody raises me or somebody gifts me, a shiny moment activates, meaning during that duration, you have chance of getting shiny. But if you have number 1 crown, that's I think 30%. Number 2 crown is 20%. And then number 3 crown is 10%. So if you have all of them, you get 60% chance of getting a shiny. So yeah. There's a shiny version for every single berry. Someone says, by the way, how I get one of the berries? Unfortunately, it's only on Twitch. You gotta do a Twitch redemption. That's what gives the berries. Okay, this one says, I can't search. It's disabled. So I definitely did some logic wrong here. We have the provision cost, which is less than this, so it'll be true. Health cost, which is 0, is less than whatever health I have. They're both true. Oh, whoops. Like that. Alternatively, it's this. Okay. Let's go to the market. We're going to search here. Nightbest says, berry PvP is going to ruin your chat now. There's no berry PvP. Well, I mean, I guess to kick, it's okay. I mean, it's not that bad, right? Like, what harm does it do? There's no harm in chat filling, is there? Maybe there is. I don't know. You have the crown? Nice. You took the #1 crown. Hey, this is the first time. Hey, thanks for the raid, Adam. I hope you had a good stream. Hello, raiders. Go check out Adam if you already don't know Adam here. Adam just released a Scally Seller recently. And then is working on the next game. Swiftly working on next game. Adam says that it was great. Got a raid and run though. All right, see you later. Thanks for the raid. All right, for those of you just joining us, you've probably seen me from Adam because I rate Adam every now and then. I chat on the chat. I'm Ezra, ex-Fang software engineer that's doing game development, who's about to go back to the day job, regretfully or happily. We have a wish listable game right now called Through the Shatter. We're trying to finish up making this game. It's a roguelike strategy adventure type of thing. Essentially, it's a summary of what adventure is. Automatically generated map where it's based on managing your resource like health and provision and money to travel through the world to get to the end between shops and upgrades and everything to better manage your resource. I mean, that's a summary of the game. Right now, we're doing the part where I'm debugging. Well, I'm adding some features. So my goal right now is to get the game demo ready for June Next Fest. So I am grinding quickly before the registration opens so that I can get to free demo as quickly as possible. And I guess I can show you the gameplay a little bit here. Basically, this is it. You have... Okay, I can't buy anything right now. I'm going to go back to here. So during the overworld travel, you spend your provision. If you run out of provision, you use your health. So there's the thing. Okay, I just died. And then for each node, you can get into exploration mode. And during the exploration mode, you get to explore using your provision, collecting provision. So you're strategizing what's the best way to manage and preserve my resource. That's a game. All right. Kevin says, "Oh, day jobs are boring. Hope you yourself a good role." Role is good. Money's good. But, you know, the thing is, I've been there and done that. So I was really hoping 3 years ago when I started on this that I could really stay on this forever. But, you know, life happened and I'm back. I'm back at it. I'm kind of excited to go back and I'll do my best there. But meanwhile, I'll be content making better than ever because now I know the ropes. My car, hey, my car, I haven't seen you in a while. My car says, got a player controller running yesterday where it is all separate systems. The state machine and system also work with NPCs and nav mesh. Only difference between the player and NPC is an input control. Ooh, I mean, that's a great way to design your AI, I think, because that gives you an opportunity to spread that into multiplayer if you wanted to. Kevin says, did you share where you're joining? I didn't really say, but you know, the hint is, I'm not trying to be too open about it. Hold on. Shoot, I'm gonna search again because my health is running low. One thing that I can say is that I've worked at Amazon for 12 years as software engineer. And then, okay, this is a bad run. I'm gonna have to restart. And then I worked at Google for 3 years before doing this. So I've done my rounds. I've served my years. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to, well, if I have to say it again, all my progress is reset, so my badge will go back to blue without saying too much. If you know, you know, right? Let's see. I'm trying not to be too open about it so that I don't get in trouble for anything that I say out here. Let's see. My car says also means I can save state by saving the blackboard. Oh, cool. You got that fixed. Or you got that working. Nice. Nightbet says kick, jump. Yeah, exactly. Get your berries to kick and jump. Excuse me. But yeah, so during the exploration mode, you have as many moves as possible, like this right here. 2 moves right now left. And once you run out of moves, it will reset by using your provision that you have. And so basically the idea is like, hey, what's the most optimal way to collect these things? And then doing that little thing. Hey, I'm 5'5". This is the best start I could have. Kane says game dev as an X-Fang X millionaire kappa. That's the that's the viral YouTube video title for sure. I cringe at that. What was that? There was this one guy that did that all the time. I forgot, during the time of a height of YouTube programmer times. And it turned out they were just like PM and they don't actually know. Anyways, whatever. It is whatever. Usama says, read my message up there, huh? Okay. Usama says, is it possible for you to add hotbar to see if see items and managing items? Hotbars for managing items? I mean, it's right here. I do think that, yeah, I'm gonna make it so that anytime, so just like Slay the Spire, all the features and upgrades will be represented by like relics here, so that you can hover over that to see what effect they have. That's the goal. And then let's see. And then I also think every node, the one update that I'm planning on making is that for each node, I want to make it so that there's a tooltip about like information about that node. And maybe that's information you can buy to show like how many, what's the probability of finding the big provision, the health potion, what main quest items are there as well. There are a lot of features I could add, but I'm gonna buy the scope here because I want to see the adjacent nodes. I wanted to test the mountain here, but let me get an upgrade first because I'm running really low on provision here. My game got really hard. Let's see. Void says, bless you. Roomba says, okay, so this is a bit unrelated. But I'm currently in uni for comp sci, and I wanted some pointers. In your opinion, what practices did you see that you in the past or your peers do or did that should probably not be done? Currently permanently using C++. The language itself doesn't have too much bearing, because especially if so you're in a good position, being that whatever you do, you'll be considered for entry position, right? You definitely need to do internship. Portfolio is good. Individual performance is important, but I would emphasize on taking note of... Oh, shoot, I'm gonna die here. Why is the game so hard? Oh, it's because the search cost provision now instead of health. I might have to give... or whatever, that's the game. It's just gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to manage that. I'm gonna try a few times before I give up and rebalance the game. And once again, you know, like at the end of the day, interview, all they care about is, hey, can you work with people? Can you communicate? Do you know what you're talking about? So technical knowledge is base, like algorithms and data structure, coding knowledge, you know, the OOP concepts. Anybody can know that. Like that's considered like very fundamental, so easy. But aside from that, based on what we call a pillars, right? Every company have their pillars. You need to be able to talk about those things in the context of your work, right? And you've heard this before. You'd be like, hey, in your past, is there an instance when you disagreed with your leaders or you disagreed with your teammates in a project, and how did you resolve that? It doesn't really matter how you resolved it. It matters what principle of your co-working you're representing or showing up when you're telling those stories. So in that sense, while you're in a uni, shaping that group project or that like deliverables that you do as a project, that's really important. All right, I'm gonna go to the mountain here. Maybe that wasn't the question though. Seleniort says tech lead. Not in the sense that what the industry would consider. Just normal non-entry engineer. How about that? According to the review, what they say is I feel kind of ashamed for saying this, but this is what people would call SD 2.5, which is okay, it doesn't work. Just give me a second. Let me test this. I can tunnel. All right, tunnel worked. That's pretty cool. Oh, but then this unlocked now. Okay. You know what? That's an interesting feature. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna keep it that way. It unlocks what's locked. Tunneling a new system cost provision. Okay, that's not too bad. What was I saying? Yeah. Kane says, yeah, tech lead exactly. I mean, I wish. But that requires, so the problem with becoming a tech lead. So it's like having the ability and experience to be a lead without the story and without the consistent proof, because that's what they want, right? They want consistent proof of large scope projects so that you can say, I am this level. Your ability doesn't matter as much as have you been consistently operating at that level of project. That's the hard part because there's only so many projects out there. Hey, thanks for the follow, Plam. Let's see. Kevin says, I boomeranged last year, got to keep my progress. Did you? Well, I don't know how much of it. I know for a fact that as a boomerang, I was told that I have my alias still. So I get to keep my old alias back at the work. Apparently. Like it popped back up. I wonder if my old stuff is still there. Wait, are you saying you got to keep your progress in terms of badge color? I'll be surprised if that's the case. I wonder if there's like a time limit. In your opinion, what practice did you do? I already read that. Hopefully that's helpful enough, Roomba. If you want detailed answers, let me know so I can answer more. My car says, my last FT job. What's FT? Front? No. Sorry. I don't know what FT means. My car says, my last FT job didn't allow me to do a lot of content work as I did Unreal Unity and Blender for work. Oh, that's like a direct competition though. They would allow me to post content or work on my own stuff. That's what got me to Godot. I see. Well, it's the trick about a lot of these tech companies are like basically everything is in competition. So I'm going to have to be very careful in what I do, what I talk about. It'll probably be strictly this project that I already started before working, right? Like there's no denial that this is something that I've been working on for a long time before I even started. So you can't deny that. Kevin Pierre says, indeed, I went out and came back. Exactly. That's what boomerang means. Roomba says, currently not in the position to do internship because of circumstances. Tried to make a bunch of programming projects and Unity games, though. I've hosted collabs and stuff. It helps. Yeah, those things help. You just need story to be like, hey, I've applied information and applied and worked in a project with a organization and team. Gives you an opportunity to answer those interview questions. You know what? I think we did a resume review for somebody before, and problem that person had was like it talked a lot about like generally I worked with Java doing this. I worked with blah blah blah, able to. So it's like very like ability focused, which is okay, but like those things are pretty much bare minimum for me. or for a lot of the interviewers, right? It's like it needs to tell a story of like, okay, what did you actually do within that space? Because it needs to reflect an understanding of like you actually knew what you were doing in a organized manner. But yeah. Voice says make a lot of connections indeed. Yes. Roomba says ads. Oops. My bad. Hopefully I didn't answer all your questions during the ads. Kevin says phone tool says all my seniority is there. Yeah, it just got paused. Huh. Okay. It's funny how many I'm trying not to say the company name. I mean, some of these things are obvious, but at least like saying phone tool, only internal people should know what that means. We'll see. We'll see what it says. I'll find out on Monday. And you can even message me if you want to. I already had 2 people, I think. Or, yeah, 2 people who's like, hey, I'm still here. I'm like, all right, you can message me. We'll grab lunch or whatever. Usama says, what if we add some names to the nodes in the exploration view or research view? I know what you mean. I have a vision of when you go into the travel mode, it'll say the Forbidden Forest or something like that, you know? But I'll look at what you wrote as well. It's just like some of these things are taking backseat because I'm like, oh, right here. I see. The Leo. Yeah, I think this would be a good idea. I want to do that. I do want to do that. I just, it's not my priority right now. Okay. So far, the game is extremely difficult. The tunneling is working. But there was a bug. The bug was when I click on the tunnel target without doing the tunnel action, it still did something instead of ignoring that input. So I'm gonna fix that. So on request journey, travel requested. On travel requested, if it is not highlighted, I just returned and did nothing. And then I set action bar. So I think I gotta just reset this real quick. Good. Okay, there it is. So that's fixed. I'm gonna do one thing. I'm going to make a goal right now. I'm gonna say move to POI because I want to get a satisfaction of beating the game. Right now it's super difficult, so I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how difficult it is in relation to what I need to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add, oh, you know what? I have a bunch of ideas, didn't I? The crystal shards get collected, and then in the ruin, I can spend the crystal shards to get an upgrade. That's the next thing I need to do. I can tunnel. I don't have any game mechanics for swamp nodes yet. The end goal. The end goal, I want to do a key to unlock. Yes, so let's make a locked gate. This might be frustrating for some people, but in terms of gameplay, but I'm going to do that. So we'll say instead of inst4, I'll create a new node. Graph map nodes. Not that. I'll make a new one. Let's see. I want to make a maybe something like gate. Makes no sense why there would be a gate, but I'm gonna make a gate. Hold on, I'm gonna draw half first. Kevin says, ooh, oh, soon too. Nice. Slack is always open. Well, I don't know what your what your in-person name is. So you're gonna have to find me on Monday. Well, I'm gonna be busy on Monday, so because I have to do onboarding. You know what's funny? When I first made content on YouTube after Google. Yeah, this is a funny thing. So my first video went kind of viral within the space, surprisingly, and that's why I got so like into this, doing this. Like I think otherwise I don't think I would have been as committed. There was a person who watched my video in my apartment, like on my building. Oh, it's Kevin Beebe. Mr. says, lol, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I know, right? Because it's like, I understand, like, it wasn't even like millions of views, right? It was, I mean, it was a lot. I got like, was it? Hold on, let me see. What's that? It was like first 3 series. And I pivoted since then, and that's my mistake. I should have, if for game dev stuff, I probably should have made a separate channel. So that ruined my channel's algorithm in the beginning. Because if I kept going with that theme, I probably would have a lot more viewers. But I pivoted. Do I regret this? I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. So I got this with 47k here. And I did this, which is ironic, but hey, don't judge me. 146k here. Which isn't a lot. I mean, it's a lot for a beginner, but it's not like amazing amount, right? So I was like, within a few months, I had somebody was like, hey, are you Ezra? I was like, yeah. Like, hey, I saw your video. I was like, oh. And I grabbed lunch with this person, and then, we talked about all the same thing that, I was pointing out about the complaints of big tech and stuff, all that stuff. But yeah, so that kind of stuff happens a lot. It's very local. The small world, I would say. Small world. But yeah. Okay. It's neat and kind of scary. Because when you're making these videos, when you're out here, you don't think you're actually going to run into people that might have seen you IRL. Not at this level, at least. You know what? I'm gonna change this. But yeah. So it's not entirely unfamiliar to me to chat with people. I'm gonna make this a little bit swirly stuff. Well, let's do that. I might connect these actually. I like it floating. Let's do a little thing. Like that. Boop. Let's see. Usama says, no, I already read that. CT says, Raylib 6 dropping tomorrow for the no engine crowd. Oh, that's exciting news. Big news, big news. I never got into that. I'm a full engine person. When I was in college and when I was a double major, FYI, I was a physics and computer science major. I was physics first, actually, because I didn't know computer science existed. I found out about computer science accidentally, by the way, which is funny. I had a moment of like when I first started programming, I was like, I want to make a game. And I was like, oh, but I don't know how to make a game. And instead of searching for how to make a game with an engine or like the knowing that there's a thing called engine, was like, oh, I'm going to use the programming language I know and I'm just going to do it from scratch. So I made a 2D projection of 3D object simulator. So like, you know, it does all the calculation and like projects it onto a 2D space. That was really fun to make, but obviously big waste of time. Just reminiscing good old times here. Maybe it wasn't a waste of time. I don't know. Depends on who you ask, I guess. Looking at this. Oop. There you go. I think this could do it. So is this gonna be the node? Should I make it circular instead of gate-like? Maybe I do need to do that. Hold on. Like, what is that? I don't know, dude. I'm just making some shapes that looks interesting, that represents some sort of a gate-like structure of some mystery form. Maybe I get rid of this, actually. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this, guys. Don't ask too much questions. There you go. Usama says, what you draw? I'm trying to, okay, so as I was saying that because right now I'm testing, it feels difficult. I don't really feel the satisfaction of beating the game. So I'm going to put a goal, which is, but then not simply arriving at something, because I know for a fact that just getting to a point is easy. What I want is find a key and then get to the goal. That's the gameplay that I'm trying to do. So I'm going to hide a key somewhere in random spots. And then the goal will say, end of region 1, demo is done once you get there with the key. And of course, I think originally I was saying that my free demo that I'm planning on for Next Fest, I'm going to make it so that you get to the new region and you experience it a little bit before the demo ends, because I don't want people to get the satisfaction of finishing something. I want them to go, finish, escalate, I'm about to get excited, and then the game ends, right? So that it feels like that kind of hook of like, oh, there's more to do, as opposed to like, okay, I got my experience worth feeling. Hey, thanks for the follow, Robiot. Let's see. Roomba says, I'm a shiny guy, I think. Oh, there should be shiny chance right now because Adam rated me. Oh, by the way, 10% chance of shiny for next 3,600 seconds. Let's see. You will know if you're shiny. Where are you? If you want to check if you're shiny. Oh, you're shiny? Okay, then you're shiny. If you do berries command, just regular berries, it tells you how many berries you have. And it also tells you if you have a shiny or not. And also, if you have a shiny, you can turn it on and off by doing shiny like that. Yeah, you do have a shiny. You have a shiny dice berry. Nice. Congrats. It's one of my favorite. I actually like the way the dice berry kicks. Try the kick command. I like the animation. Mr. Who Cares says, that's 5 minutes. What's 5 minutes? Oh, the 3,600 seconds? Yeah. Hey, you know what? You're not paying me to do math. Thanks for doing that for me. Mr. Cares also said, I wish I was a smart guy, but I'm just a dumb guy pretending to be smart. I think the smartest guy is the person who says they're dumb. Because when you're smart, you actually are not. I don't know. It's also feel kind of weird. The smartness feels weird to me. Because as someone who's growing up, I tutored a lot of people. And oftentimes I found that a lot of the times people and students weren't able to grok concepts, not because they're just fundamentally dumb, but because of their background, like the culture of how they grew up or what was emphasized in the family and their personality, which makes it so that they lose focus when it's outside of those factors. So, or like they can't connect the same dot when it's outside of those things. So if there's somebody who can explain it in those field or in those like relevance, something that is relevant like that, then they're actually able to grasp those information, and eventually they become the person who can now explain this new information in their own context. So I feel a little bit iffy about people like, oh yeah, that person is just dumb. But then it's like, that's the whole like nurture versus nature thing of like, okay, well, if someone has the potential but don't know anything, would you still define that person as dumb? And that's when the pedanticness comes through of the language, I guess. Thanks for the follow, Bat Pandagr. I wonder what the GR stands for. Hello. Let's see. Got a bunch of berry actions now. Yeah, get your berries now. If you want your own berries, plant the berries, and then plant the berries, redeem plant berries, and then water it 9 times. Greece. I see. Bat Panda Greece. Hi. Actual cannibal pandas here too. Wow, we got all the pandas here. Hi. Long time no see. Usama says, I have an idea. In the research, it's just search. It's explore. You keep saying research. Maybe I should update that. It says, in the research, in the node, we add a percentage that player can find a teleport that takes him to other world. Or a place where it can find mysterious things like special items abilities. Those are actually in the plan. I mean, I'm glad to see that that's something that you're pointing it out. That means like it makes sense. I really want to do all those things. It's just not there yet. Who cares says, wait, could you plant multiple times? No, you can't. It'll refund you if you try to do that. I just didn't implement that feature. So this is made in Godot, by the way. The little berry folk stream avatar interaction thing, I made it in Godot using Connie Dev, who's another streamer out here, Godot streamer, made a good Twitch plugin for Godot. So I used that to make this little game. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. My ultimate goal eventually, when I get around to it, I've been saying this, is to make a tower defense for everybody to everybody to participate together. All the viewers can like choose different berries and build different constructions to do a tower defense. But yeah, let me release this first. Yeah. All right, hold on. Whew, I got distracted here. Okay, I said I'm gonna make a final node and a key. So at least there's a goal for me to enjoy. So first thing I need to do is go to my region mode where all the regions are being generated. And on the level generator for home, because this is a home world, I'm going to add a new generation config called gate, which is not here. So I'm going to have to implement that. Map node, PY type. We're going to make, call this a world gate. Then I'll reload the project. Roomba says, I don't think we'd be watching stream. We'd be too busy playing Barry TD. Well, the thing is, Barry TD is interaction. I was thinking that it would be cool to have Barry TD for like ad breaks. So it's like, during the ad break, I'll turn on the Barry TD. And then, or like during every raid or every gifted sub kind of stuff, so that it encourages people to want to engage a little more in those like pay blocked timeline. I mean, ultimately, I do this so that I can make it more fun to help me. I mean, I hope that's not uncool to say. At the end of the day, it's good to be supported, and I'm just making it more fun to support me. Mr. Who Cares says, Adam has pretty fun ones he made. Used to have Minecraft one, but he's got jump time. I don't know what jump time is actually. That sounds fun. Betpanda Grace says, can I ask what the concept of the game is? The concept of the game is roguelike adventure strategy in some sense, with resource management. The concept is you're journeying through the world to get to a place while managing a resource. On the way, you can upgrade, collect items, make builds, discover. I mean, that's a big word for me. Discover, uncover. The feeling is that exploration, but in a most like succinct way. That's why all the journey aspect or adventure is graph traversal, and then you're managing your provision and your health to make the right choice. Different nodes do different things, different NPCs and different items have different things. And if the concept interests you, wishlist on the pinned comment. That's the my short of it. All right. So I am adding the gate on the region map mode. So I got the region map mode, unlevel generator. I'm gonna add the world gate. I'm gonna say there's only one world gate, and I want it to be at least 10 distance from the start. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe I'll do 7. Let's make it 7 distance from the start. No ratio. It is a goal node technically. Oh, it's not a goal node actually. And I'm gonna make it, I guess I have to make the world gate now. So let's make the world gate. And I'm gonna have a little interaction where the dialogue pops out and stuff like that. And by the way, this is where the dialogue plugin comes in. I know you Adam watchers know that Adam has been working on his choosing of the dialogue. I introduced my plugin and he was like, oh, I don't need a visual. It's not visual, okay? It's actually programmable. So I get to show this off a little bit. It's used by a lot of people. It's good stuff. Well, I gotta find the dialogue though. Let's do events, I guess. Is there an event in here? Quests. So as you can see, it's visually organized just because it's easier for me to organize the concept of the flow. But like, it's like scripting. So you do your dialogue. This is the prompt. These are the nodes it goes to. And then you can signal out within it. And then you can customize the signal to implement whatever feature you need to feature. So for example, right now I'm going to create a new one. So I'll have a start node. And I'll say, let's save this as, let's say world gate. World gate. I'll say to the glow of the gate connects to your mind, and say continue. interact with the gate. And then I would say turn around, and then it'll be like exit. Now I can create a new node, which is named this, which connects automatically, and say the gate requires a key to pass through. Do you have the key to journey on? And I was like, I could even say, oh, if I'm gonna do this, signal has item world key. Then I say if result is true, I would say, I wonder if I have to do it this way. If the result is true, then make the prompt available, which says give the key. Access gate, which will have new node here. Access gate. And then turn around. We'll be back to exit here. Then I'll create an exit. And then I'll just say signal exit dialog. Something like that. And that's it. That's how you do it. Kevin says, does it play nice with C#? I mean, it should, because the concept itself, the way this works, I'll show you. It doesn't do the dialog box, so it just manages the content. What it does, let's see if I can show you better. It should. That's the answer. That's the short answer. So I made my own dialog box, which is on the onus. It's the responsibility of the developer, game developer, to make their own dialog panel. So it comes with the easy dialog reader. And the way you work with it is, if you look at the dialog reader, it comes with the signals that says custom signal received, which gets triggered when it sees a signal here in the script. And then you have the dialog generated, which gets run at the end of the dialog. When the dialog page has been processed, all the dialog has been generated, this signal comes out. When that signal comes out, that's what you react to, right? So you say on dialog generated, which, because it's a signal, you can implement it in your own C#. I happen to use GDScript. You have this response, which is in the shape of dialog response resource. And you can see it either has a text, full text of what the dialogue is. And of course, that means like if you have a custom thing that you want to do, you could have your own annotation of like do something here. And then you can interpret that yourself by parsing the text, right? That's the flexibility. I made it so that the dialog box reveals a text here, and then you can say, hey, here are choices that are relevant to this. And in order to continue to the next choice, all you do is use the reader, dialog reader, and then on the selection of the choice, you just provide the choice index in the order that it was provided by the response. And you can see that the custom signal, I have this already, where I just parse the value, which is everything inside of the signal parentheses as string. So you have to do your own parameter parsing, but you know, it's flexible. And you do that. Kevin says, oh, gotcha. So it's like server side and you bring the UI. Cool. Yeah. And then you can also inject your own state. So for example, these variables that are available within the script is not global variable. It's not some preset variable. It's something that you pass. So right now I passed it as an empty, but you might as well have like separate variable that says dialog state. That's a dictionary. And then you can just pass that in and keep this separate. So you have the opportunity to, just like server-side dialog, you take and convert your game stat or game state variables into the dialog variable. So you have an opportunity to have immutable state. But if you want to mutate it, you can mutate the dialog state and then have a conversion back when the dialog ends, if you want to. So it's like protected, it's like separated. But right now I'm just doing empty here. So I think it's very flexible. I actually have a few studios that's using it and stuff like that. I've gotten a few donations from that too. It was one of the first things I did after I stopped working. Because the things I did in the past was dialogue relevant. But yeah, I'm proud of that one. Sorry, I'm just checking messages here. Let's see. Okay. So I'm making the gate here. I'm gonna make a gate node. Let's see. We have a map node somewhere in here. Graph map nodes, and then we have a map node here. And then I guess I gotta make an instance of this. I think that's how I did everything, by instantiating the map node. Let's inherit that. I'm gonna call this the world gate. This is the type world gate. Not gonna show bonus. None of that. Texture size is still 32 by 32. Region resource, I'm not gonna do anything. But I do think that there's a destination dialogue. I'll do quest dialogue here. And then I'll load JSON file, which should be in here. Load under quests, world gate. So that should do it. Load JSON. Then I'll save this as the node in the graph map. But it does, so the next feature that I've been singing about that a lot of people are requesting on the dialog plugin is the localization integration. So I need to do that when I get a chance. Bad Panda Grease says, done. Oh, wish listing? Thanks. Kevin says, does it play nice with it? I already read that. Very cool. Actual Cannibal Panda says, tile map layers are a pain for isometric games. Yeah, I noticed that. So you can use tile map for isometric, but I noticed that a lot of the, like, Y sorting doesn't work very well. Because if you want to do Y sorting properly in isometric, you have to treat a chunk of wall as a single entity, as opposed to each tile being its own. So like that requires like some custom composition, like compositing the images into a single image to treat that as. Yeah, it's a pain. You have to come up with your own solution for that. Panda says, simple graphic. To be honest, I don't play usually this type of game, but I will give it a try as soon as it's out. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, if it's not for you, I get it. But, you know, we know here in the indie game space that on Steam, wishlist count does matter, even if it doesn't convert entirely. So at least I'm trying to get that wishlist count up so that it comes to the front of the page when I do release it. Kevin says, oh, gotcha. So it's like the server side, and I already read that. Panda says, Bad Panda says, I need to go to sleep. It's 3 at night in Greece. I wish you good luck with the game. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll see you around. Thanks for watching. Oh, Fig. I think my cat is begging to come in. Hi. Wanted to come in here? Oh, baby. Okay. Little cat break. Here's Fig. Kevin says, oh yeah, that's big. What, are we talking about localization? Sorry, I lost context. Here's Cat. Say hi to the cat. Oh my gosh. Of course, she just wants to be on my table or desk. Hello? What? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Kevin says, yeah, sorry, localization, yeah. Localization is big. I thought it wasn't big because when I first got into the space, I was like, you don't have time. As a solo developer or indie developer, I thought localization is like the last thing you think about. I mean, like, it's easy way to make your game audience be bigger. But at the same time, I feel like US speaking market is big enough where just targeting that really hard and focusing all your effort on that is normal, you know? Kevin says, nice kitty, indeed. Hey, you want to go? Are you done? Oh, don't lick. Say meow. Okay, bye. Oh my goodness, all these hair. No? Okay, let's take you out. Come here. Yay. Kevin says, on the other hand, if your game does well enough in the US, you'll probably want to expand it. So it always pays off to be prepared and start early. It's true. I don't think I would. I don't know. It really depends. I feel like localization is like post demo work for sure. At least for a studio that's not already successful. Because it costs money to do localization, right? And I guess it is worth the investment. I don't know. I got to think about this. I mean, people do it, so it must be a good thing to do. So I gotta implement that feature. Kane says, finding and replacing all the text with keys will be annoying in the end. It is true. So one benefit I do have is that I pre-parse the dialogue. So my dialogue manager, the way it works is that it parses all this into as a JSON. It parses all this into like a compiled. It compiles into some sort of JSON format. So all the texts are there. And in the past, I actually done this before in my other job. The way I handled it was you're already naming your node. So I have like subsections of these dialogues. So it's just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 of start. And of course, because I already have parsing of like what type of dialogue this is, right? This is defining the one that's being customer facing, right? The player facing versus this is player facing versus the IDification. That I can easily be like, oh yeah, this is start 0, start 1, start 2, interact with gate 1, interacted with gate 2, interacted with gate 3 type of thing. So keying this is not too difficult, I think. And guess what? There's actually another thing that's pretty amazing that or thing that you miss all the time, which is converting this and auto assigning voiceovers. So for example, let's say I gotta print this out for voice recording, right? Making this into a script that people can read is annoying. So once you key it, once you have this naming scheme, then you now have a scripting exports, which by the way, you can make a post processor of this dialog plugin to do that, to generate a output. And then once you make the audio file, it needs to give you what to name the audio file to auto input, auto connect the audio voiceover onto this part of the dialogue. And that's another work that I need to do, which I probably will do in the future. A lot of interesting things to consider here when it comes to game development that you would normally not think about. Kane says, I would always do localization, but just support English at first. Yeah. I mean, at the least I would say EN US, EN GB, right? Kevin says, oh, the actual localization for sure can be tricky. Money, but also finding people you trust, etc. But making sure you can easily support, enable it in game is worth. Yeah, I agree. Nothing wrong has been said. Atlas texture. We're gonna grab our node. Oops. And then 32 by 32. I think it's 32 by 5 and 32 times 3. Let's see where it is. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Here's the gate. No animation right now. But I did the whole dialogue thing. I want to make it so that this one, the world gate, doesn't have exploration option. So world gate, will, let's see, is there default actions here? Action, additional action. For this one, when I say get actions. Oh, this is bad, huh? Where am I using this? I'm appending an array between default action and additional action. And default action is an export of the action bar. Right now, the default of search is available everywhere. I think I might actually make it so that it doesn't even consider that. So on get additional actions, this already have search in it, rest and tunnel. Okay, cool. I don't have to rely on that then. So I just need to do empty actions here for the world gate. So I'm going to attach a new one for this particular one. World gate map node, which will do map node here. And then I'm just going to override the get additional action here and then just return empty array. There's no action in world gate. That should be good, I think. And then I added it. I added the dialogue, which may or may not work right now because I don't know if I set it up all properly. Wait, did my cat leave? Where did she go? Oh, Tiny, you want to get out? Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. My goodness. Okay, all right. All right, so I have that. Let's see, world gate. Show behind, blah, blah, blah. What else is there? I don't think I need to assign anything else. I'm just gonna fix the dialogue to match the rest. Signal exit here. Okay. This is gonna break. That's fine. Exit here. Access the gate. I think this one should victory or end demo message, and then exit here. Has item world key this one. I gotta implement that one under dialog custom. So over here, parameter is elif param 0 has item. We're gonna say item name will be params second one, and then I'm just gonna say game stat has item by name. Item name. That should be good. McCoy says, when's the next easy dialogue update? I don't know, dude. I think, hear me out. I think after I do the free demo of Through the Shatter, because I am curious of making localization for this, that I will do that update as part of this game development. That seems like a natural point to do that. Okay, we did that, and then we're gonna say, that. That. And then it assigns the result of the state. I get to check if it is true, then I can say give the key. Otherwise, turn around. And then it'll exit. Okay, so dialogue is good here. There you go. So this happens on arrival. We're good here. Because it's easy localization update. I don't think I'm gonna make my own localization solution. The way I'm looking at it right now, I think Godot made a lot of strides on internationalization natively, and there's like a localization setting. So what I want to do is for the localization feature, I wanted to make it work naturally with the already existing solution. So I'm going to have to first look at what the already existing solution is and basically have the plugin work kind of like in tandem with this, so that you don't have to come up with your own new formatting or whatever. So it requires some study, some research, because that would make sense, right? I don't want to add a whole new documentation for a feature that already exists. Let's see. AnonDev says, hi, I'm moving to another country soon for a full-time job for making VFX assets. Oh, very cool. I want to make games, but I don't know where to start. How would you approach this? I just know VFX shaders and making texture. Hey, you're like ahead of a lot of people. VFX is tough. Choose a game engine and start making. I mean, you already know coding concepts if you're doing programming, graphical programming already. The debugging is a lot easier. I would say for Godot specifically, I said this already today. This is what I search. This is what I tell people, especially if they already know coding, but even if you don't know, it's fine. Search for Godot engine documentation, right? Open the Godot engine document. Of course, you've already, assuming that you've already downloaded it. There's a tab called Getting Started. This is where I would start, honestly. I'm not even sure introduction. I would just go straight for your first 2D game. And this kind of sets you up for like the idea behind how Godot treats the scene, their concept, their kind of like philosophy of programming, right? And once you do that, you get a general sense of how things work. And then you can start asking specifically, okay, well, given this and what I know, I want to make this kind of genre of game. Hopefully you're choosing something small. And then, you go from there. You get new questions like how to make platformer, or how do I do collision, or stuff like that. Mr. Bush says, yo, do you know any Pokemons? Just curious. Yeah, I mean, I grew up on Pokemon. First gen specifically. I think I stopped playing the Pokemon game in Gold and Silver. That was a second gen. Red, green, yellow, blue. I played that a lot when I was in elementary school. And then Gold and Silver came out. That was fun too. I couldn't beat it because I never had a translated version of the game and I didn't know English. So there was a Japanese version and English version. And when I played the game on the emulator, which by the way, that's what I did. It was either in Japanese or in English, and I only knew Korean at the time. So I did a lot of like, and at the time, internet wasn't something that was like available everywhere to search. So I did a lot of like choosing the first option, second option, third option, and until it works. and going different places and doing different things and finding it out that way, which is crazy that I got as far as I did just doing that. Mr. Bree says, oh, dang, what's your favorite Pokemon, Dan? I mean, Squirtle used to be my favorite. I think like Blastoise. I'm not even Squirtle. Like that generation, that was my favorite. Pikachu wasn't my favorite just because it was too commonplace. Eevee, obviously, is most people's favorite. I like Eevee. Anon says, thank you very much. Yeah, no problem. Kane says, my cat always calls me, and when I come, she jumps into the bathtub to be pet. Bathtub? I gotta give my cat a bath. Mr. Who Cares says, internet used to be expensive. Yeah, dial-up by the minute. Crazy times. Mr. Brick says, W favorite, me personally, I like Greninja. Oh, I see. Yeah. That's like a new generation. That's like a third generation, no? Greninja, I think. Anyways. Well, good to know. Good to know. Very cool. Let's see. I did the dialogue. I made the gate. Gate will be available. The key. Okay, so I'm going to hide the key somewhere randomly now. That means I got to create an item called the key. Or should the Explorer node itself have the key? I'm gonna make an item, just like Campfire. So I'm already doing randomization logic for rest site. If you remember, rest site is one of those like little fireplace thing. So I'm going to make a single key item node. Hey, thanks for the raid, Rabbit Reaper. Hey, another raid. Welcome everyone. Shout out here. Hope you had a great stream again. I don't know if you were here last time I talked about my wish list, but my wish list is available in the pinned comment. Or pinned comment. Gosh, speaking is hard sometimes. So go check it out. Deving it up. Yeah, deving it up. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm on my hour 3, which is like longer than I usually do, so we'll see how far it goes. Kevin says, my cats love going into the bathtub. I gotta keep them out while I shower or they'll jump in. They get curious. Don't get me wrong. They get curious. They peek in, but they haven't made the brave journey of jumping onto the shower just yet. I'm hoping that they would, so I can actually bathe them. But I'm not sure if the trick is like lukewarm water or hot water. I don't know if they like hotter or colder water. Mr. Brick says, well, you got a new subscriber. Hey, thanks for the sub. And thanks for the follow, Storming Cloud. Portical Poor Armor says, hi, first time in the chat. I'm searching devs to give some ideas to them. How's your game like? My game is going well. This one is a simplified journey and adventure, conceptually speaking. Journey distilled down to a graph search. You're doing resource management to get from point A to B. Use provision, collect items, make upgrades and builds. Kind of like Slay the Spire, but except instead of deck building, you are building your traveler in some sense, I guess. Okay, so this one broke because... Oh, yes, I didn't assign that. Map node helper. Open that up. And then I gotta assign the gate. Boom. Okay. Is the music too loud suddenly? I feel like the music is very loud right now. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Beacon. Lower the volume here. Okay. I did that. That should work. Okay, what else do I need? I need to hide the key. That's what I was doing. But let me show you a little bit. Hey, thanks for the sub, Portical. Storming Cloud says, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks. Rabbit says, we did have a good stream, worked on more game art concepts. That's good. That's good. Is there any like visuals that you want to share? I would love to open it up. We are supportive here. Okay. So, you know, this is what it looks like. You can choose to search, but it costs 1 provision, blah, blah, blah. I gotta get rid of that exit stuff, so I'm gonna go here, exit, get rid of the exit node. So no more exit nodes. Rabbit says, sure, I have 3 things I can show. Forgot, did I need a permit? No, I don't think so. I don't think you need a permit. Hold on. I'm gonna have to redo some little bit of surgery before I show everything. Get rid of that. That's gonna yell at me for a few reasons, I think. No? Okay, good. Then I'm going to do move to POI. And basically, when I get to the ending here, if the type is... I probably shouldn't do this. So show victory will happen. I'm going to comment this out. And then on journey, I do dialogue. Dialogue, we have access gate end demo message, which will be over here. Almost there. On custom signal, we'll have L if param 0 equals end demo message. And then this one, I think I'm gonna trigger a game stat manager. Or should it be journey stage manager? I feel like a stat. Yeah, I think it's a stat. I'll signal out saying end of demo reached. And basically over here, I'll say game stat. End of the demo reached will be omitted. And the journey mode will listen to the game stat. So on ready, we'll connect that right there. Game stat. End of demo reached. We'll say on end of demo, which will be, let's do it over here. For now, I'm just going to simply show victory. Okay. Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting spammed. No, it was the image. All right, cool. Oh, very cool. Okay, we got some horse soldier. I like the emblem on the shoulder with the ooh. We got some kind of thief-esque. Oh, I like your art style. Very cool, very clean. Like your concept. Oh, scary. Look at this one. Very good. I can see that you also use Clip Studio art. We know by looking at the bottom left right here. Very cool, very cool. Thanks for sharing. Oh, this one is like a flower snake thing. Very cool. I love that. Great concept art. Thanks for sharing. Looks fun. Looks fun. Anyways, if you like what you're seeing, everyone, go check out Rabbit Reaper, who just rated us here. Well, we are trying to make we're trying to get to the completion of this game right now. I noticed that as I was testing, the game feels a little difficult right now. But it feels also difficult because I don't have inherently like a goal to the game yet implemented. So I'm making the end. And the simple end is getting and finding the world gate and then bringing key there. And the key will be hidden somewhere in the world. So I'm making, I guess I should treat that as NPC maybe. Yeah, let's do NPC here. I have rest site NPC already. I'm going to change that to, well, I'm going to make new one called world gate key. key NPC. And then that one's going to have an image. And we'll attach a script, which will be NPC script here. WorldGate key NPC will be under NPC. Main WorldGate key NPC. And it's going to yell at me because it's like, hey, implement all these abstract classes. And I'll be like, okay, I will. Function here. And then function here. Whoops. Then I'll do something here. Portugal says, can after this you show the sound you have in your game? I don't have any sounds yet. That's a to-do. That's a to-do. I mean, I make my own sounds here and there, but it's definitely taking the back seat for this particular game. Sometimes I've contracted out the music design to sound professional before. I like making my own music sometimes, but for this one, I've been focusing on just developing it, so I'm getting there. Portugal says, wow, cool. A key fire idea. Yeah, like that's like a super novel, right? Right now, I'm making it so that the key is somewhere hidden in some of the nodes, and the idea is like you have to find it, and then you have to get to the door. It's just kind of the journey of it all. Let's see if it plays right now without breaking, so I can show you what it looks like. Okay. And the idea is you go through each region, you know, to get to the final crystal. So you're starting from home region. So you have this. The idea is when you're in a node, you can search, and that costs a provision to enter. Now, once you're in there, you can move around, and you can see that you can move as much as you have the moves for. There's 2 moves remaining. You can see when I pick these items up, whoop, and then like +1 there, and then I go whoop, and +2 there. It says your provision is consumed when you run out of moves. So when you run out of move during exploration, this is exploration mode, the provision gets spent and your move resets. So it's like you can actually explore as much as you want. And when you're done exploring, you got to return to the beginning. Sometimes it's not the beginning, but that's the idea. Rabbit says, my bad if I miss anything. I'm muted for ads. Anyhow, I shall have to hop on for post-stream care. I hope the rest of the stream goes well. Thanks for rating. And yeah, we just said I like the art. It looks cool. Concept art looks really nice. I love the style, and I can see that you use Clip Studio art like I do. All right, bye. Thanks for the raid. Anyway, so once you have that, in the overall, when you're traveling, it spends provision while you're traveling. So it's like you're managing all of this, which is a pretty big deal. I know for a fact that the merchant node doesn't have any provision. Do I still find it? I guess I should. There might be a rest site. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna collect some coins here. I'm gonna just hit the merchant. Okay, we found the shop. Gonna get back out. I'm thinking like, okay, so the idea is that key will be somewhere in one of these nodes hidden. And then you have to find it. I do feel like there should be other ruins, other features, the shop that tells you exactly where the key is, or there's a hint. The hint goes, signal when there's a key within 3 node radius or whatever. Maybe that's something I could do. Oh, the bear is about to kill me. Ah! No. All right, I gotta get this provision at least before returning. McChris says, is the spyglass telescope icon from Dread on Arrival? No, I made a new one. I just happen to draw things very similarly. Oh my gosh. Dude, when did this game get so hard? Okay, okay. We're good. We're good. Seems similar. Okay, that makes sense because I drew it. I'm gonna... I kind of want to start with the full provision. I'm gonna risk it and go in there again. Okay, good, good, good. I'm gonna pick this up, 1, 2, and then come back out. Okay. I'm waiting for this one. Ah, boy. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think we're good here. If I do it... Ah! No! That bear just came out of nowhere. Okay, okay, hold on. Jeez, I can't even test my game. Anyways, that's the game. That's what it looks like. I was supposed to... Okay, so... Make the key. About the enemies, can you fight them? Right now, there's no option for fighting. It's like avoiding. I do want to make it so that there's some items that deals with those, like laying down a trap or whatever. Right now, it's just exploration. The avoiding danger. Still in design. Dark Rosen says, do you know the difference between juice and cordial? Cordial is extracted via a second medium. Juice is directly squeezed, isn't it? Like it's like when you're dipping flour in an alcohol to extract the flavor of the flour, for example. Mikura says, I don't know. I mean, you can tell me. Mikura says, is this like a... No, I read that. Mikura says, wait, your art looks like your art? Oh my god. Okay, I know. Exactly. I could have repurposed it, but I just like redrawing things. Okay, I'm going to make the key here. Luckily, I already have a key image, so I'm just going to use that. It's going to be... Should it be an... Maybe it should be item instead of NPC. I don't know. Okay, what is this music doing? That sounds weird. Portical says, about the enemies, can you fight them? Maybe an item that has poison. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Some sort of poison could be cool. Let's see. This one is 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. I think I'm gonna keep the green key. So 0, 3. Or maybe I do 2 like that. There you go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make an item instead of NPC. I know. I keep making my changing my opinion on things, but I think item might be easier. Let's see. I'll create a new scene. Call this world gate key item. And then it's gonna extend the shop item. Is it a shop item? Let me see what this is. Item node. Okay. New scene. Item node. I guess I can't do that. Just go world gate key item node. Then we're gonna attach a script that extends the item node. Boop. And class name will be world gate key item node. And this one wants me to extend a bunch of things. And then for the sprite, I'll do the same thing. Just copy this real quick. Okay. This key is there. It's going to say world gate key. Image handler is sprite here. I'll do it later. Portugal says, like you poison a line and every time that the enemy pass in that line. Oh yeah, I think that would be cool. I think for sure a lot of the actions or like the damaging stuff should be in the format of graph to stay true to the theme. Like shoot, line, like choose a node or like leave a trail in the node and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the whole like region thing is pretty cool. Mikuri says it's probably better to redraw, keeps you able to continue drawing, not losing the ability and stagnant. Yeah, also true thing is the whole like staying in theme of what you're doing is easier to keep things consistent when you redraw things. Okay, so we have the item node. On activate, what happens? On pickup, I'm gonna give gain item. Oh. Huh. I wonder what happens here. Push the item back. I see. Very cool. Okay, this just kind of works. Hell yeah. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, so I'm going to say world key. So this one is named world key. I'm going to change the world gate key. Like that. And when I'm searching by name, I'm doing lowercase. Yeah, that'll work. That'll just work. Pick up, gain item. I don't know what on travel is. Very cool. And then I guess I could do one more thing here. World key. I'm gonna say notification control. Send found notification that says world key, or say mysterious key found. There you go. And then gain it. Portugal says, I don't know how this system of cutting a line should work because you could get trapped. Hey, look, I mean, that's part of the mechanic, but I'm going to think about it. That's something definitely I want to do in the future. Master Agent Miyazaki, hi. 5 million Frenef says, have you heard Linus Droidwalds infected millions of computers worldwide via the GCC virus in System D and the Red Hat conspiracy to control the world? Never heard about this one. By the way, thanks for the follow, Storming Cloud, if I didn't already say that. Jeez. That's like 25 minutes ago. Portugal says, what do you think about cutting the line? I love that idea. I like the idea of connecting or cutting a line that exists. That could be really cool. Mechanically, it could be very like hard to show UX wise, but that's, I think if I can do it, that could be really fun mechanic. And that makes sense. That's like true to the theme of the graph search. So thanks for the idea. I'll keep in mind. All right, so journey mode, I'm going to drop the key in the random spot. So I wonder if there's an item node helper here. Item helper, nope. Nothing in there. I guess I'll just have to manually do it. Rest site here. We're adding it to the gen config. the rest site. I think one of the map nodes I'm going to have a flag. Well, map node doesn't need a flag, I think. Map node already has a thing about items here. Encounters. Let's see. Is there anything about the items? I guess not. How do I... What about provisions and all those things? Are those just nodes? They are nodes. I think I might actually need... Map node needs a random item export here. So I'm going to create a new export so that I can assign items beforehand. Which will be array of item nodes. Hopefully it won't get freed. We'll see. So the journey mode. This is bad, but I'm gonna do this temporarily so I can see if it's something that I can do. Let's see. Mr. Asian Miyazaki says, I started a long RTS project some 3 years ago when I was in between jobs. Spent every day for 7 months on it. Then I got hired and it was left almost completed. But not until recently did I pick it back up, fitting it into my weekends. You're giving me some needed extra motivation to keep going, being in a similar boat, I guess. So close, but so far away. I know. That's how it is. You know, if it helps, join our Discord. Join our Discord. Oops. So we have this like self-guided weekly kind of sprint update thing that people do under my game progress. And the whole idea is like we want to get excited together, leaving feedback for people. I mean, I saw this with on stream earlier, so let me see. While I'm reminded. But anyway, so we have these people just kind of like exploring, updating once a week. It's up to you. Some people are more strict to once a week, some people are not. And then we get excited together. And this is kind of like a space for us to be a little bit, what do you call? Accountable for each other, finding accountability in one another. So, yeah. Oh, shoot. I just realized how late this is. I actually need to get going soon. Let me just catch up on the chat and I'll raid out here. Pick it back up. It's good that I'm giving you motivation. Orion says, hi guys, I'm Orion and I'm from Colombia. Hi, hello, salve. No, that's not. Anyways, that's Latin. Hi, Orion. Welcome. Let's see. Portugal also says, maybe an enemy that is a bomb and he explodes. Ooh, you got a lot of good ideas. This is great. Have you considered a dash system? Like you can teleport to another adjacent circle? That sounds good. Actually, a little bit of action features, I think, is something that I definitely want to think about. Like press a key while traveling to have like a faster travel. I think like a boost in travel would be good too. There are some other tunneling system where you instantly travel as well. So there are a lot of potential that we can do here. I'm excited about that. Otherwise, I think we're good here. So I just need to, well, I'm going to remind myself that I need to do the random placement of the key. And then I think we can raid out here. I think we went to Big Boy yesterday. Hey, Jitspo. It's rare that I actually am catching Jitspo here. So I'm going to go to Jitspo. Sorry, Hypnotic. I'll come to you. probably Friday. Friday is my last regular scheduled day. After that, I'm gonna have to figure out a new stream day. So, bye bye. All right, see you all. Thanks for watching. Hello and goodbye. See you Friday? I don't know. If all things go well, it'll be Friday. Bye. Okay.